Match found.
Cool. Let's go.
Chefinho! Thanks for the paper
Reloading.
Best ever.
You bet. Don't use them all in one day.
Our spike carrier is killed.
Spike down B.
Multiple enemies B.
Last player standing.
Paint? Check. Charges? Check. Brakes? Nowhere in sight.
On my mark.
Right there. Reloading.
I got their omen.
Cutting their vision.
Smoke's down.
This is up top.
Reloading. Enemy spotted A. Here.
Blocking sight. No charges left. Enemy kill. No charges left. Blocking sight.
Reloading. Enemy B.
Last player
carrier is
standing.
killed.
One enemy remaining. Spike down B.
Oh yeah, Jet. I can't wait for you to run circles around him.
Reloading.
Bomb body out.
Blocking sight.
Enemy spotted B. Grenade!
No charges left.
Colorful kill.
It's all you, Mosh.
Enemy spotted B.
Reloading. Up and away. Someone's there.
Enemy spotted B.
I'll take it. Get him, wingman.
One enemy remaining.
Down.
Reloading.
Launching smoke.
Enemy B. Spike planted. Ready. You don't mess with my crew.
Last round in the half.
Don't be cheap. Spend it all before it's gone.
Gun here.
Spike here.
Can someone buy me, please?
Safety's off. Need equipment.
What's this? Okay.
Off your feet!
It's all you, little homie.
Last player standing. Spike down B.
Adios.
Switching sides.
Reloading.
Reloading.
Let's get these idiots.
Watching here. Watching here.
Let
Let's make some chaos.
TP.
Enemy spotted A.
Spike planted.
Molly! Enemy spotted A. Reloading.
No charges left.
Gotcha.
One enemy remaining.
Right here. Reloading.
Run, little man.
Did you really expect that to work? Deep breaths, everyone. Your hearts are pounding.
Watch and learn. There.
Watching here.
Spike planted.
Blocking sight.
Enemy spotted. Parasite. My ult's ready.
Last player standing. Match point.
So,
Reloading.
double down.
Let's talk. Watching here. For you, hermanita. Careful here. Here. Enemy spotted B. And there we go.
Spike down B.
Get it. Satchel out. Satchel out.
Last player standing. Attackers win. Match found.
Cool. Let's go.
Match found.
Cool. Let's go.
Give me a number from 1 to 21. Bro, like basic math, bro. 1 to 21. Like 9 is taken, I'll take 6.
Hey, Phoenix, if you die, I call dibs on your jacket.
Oh, don't be like that. You know you also want my shoes.
Someone's mid.
I'll find you.
Target down.
Plant the
Someone's
spike.
mid.
Blocking sight.
Spike planted.
Enemy down.
One enemy remaining. Last player standing. Clutch.
Come on, Jet. Me and you, we never lose. Let's do this.
The hunt begins.
Where are you?
Enemy spotted mid.
Let's
Raven
fight.
down. Someone's mid. Bunch of guys mid. Our spike's down.
Spike down B.
Yikes. İyi geceler.
Someone's mid.
One enemy remaining.
My ult is ready. You were so close.
Yeah! Let's bring it back.
My ult's ready.
Let's take what they have.
Never saw me.
My ult's ready. Ooh. Blocking sight.
Reloading.
Spike planted.
One enemy remaining.
Where are you? Marked one. I knew your every move.
Last round before the switch.
Don't be cheap. Spend it all before it's gone.
Here. Here. Here. Sorry,
Their
mate.
fears betrayed them.
Sorry, mate.
Come on, let's go!
I'll find you.
Flash!
What's this?
That's done.
I know exactly where.
One enemy remaining.
3 souls. Planted.
Cheers.
Don't worry. Your life won't go to waste.
Switching sides.
Pry open their minds. Find the weakness.
Cheers.
Careful now.
Mark 2. Trying to hide. Someone's mid.
Spike down B. One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
I'm the last thing they'll see before they die. Lucky them.
Let's fly.
Yeah. Someone's A. Someone's A. Someone's A.
Night night.
player standing.
I'm amped. Let's go. I got things to do.
No prisoners.
The hunt begins.
They will come.
Lock in sight.
Enemy B.
Reloading.
One enemy remaining.
My ultimate.
Flawless.
We crushed it. Should we celebrate or something?
Match point.
Look, don't start resting. There's still work to do.
You're done. Enemy B.
What's this? Sleep. Reloading. No charges left. There.
Nightmare, take them! Marked one. We found one.
Fire in the hole!
Last player standing. One enemy remaining. Defenders win.
Someone else will clean up. I don't take out the trash.
Match found.
Go. Let's go.
the gang's all here. This is great. They don't stand a chance.
Last player standing. One enemy remaining. Spike planted.
Ready. Oh, the back hurts. Everyone's so heavy.
You made them look like idiots, Jet. You should do that again.
Spike planted.
Got one. Enemy spotted mid.
One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
Here.
I'm the last thing they'll see before they die. Lucky them.
Reloading. Reloading. Let's do what we do. Reloading.
Feeling Parasite. My ult ready.
They're not ready. Dizzy's up.
Spike down mid. One enemy
My
remaining.
ult's ready.
Come on, little man.
KO 117.
Saw you, Mosh.
30 seconds left.
Up you go. Don't worry, friends. It hurts, but I'm good.
Last round in the half.
This is it. Get those guns.
They don't have a chance.
What's this?
Many enemies.
Enemy spotted.
Who's next?
Blocking sight. Blocking sight.
One enemy remaining.
Spike is safe.
Dizzy's up top.
Repeat 117. What the fuck?
Switching sides. Match point.
Let's go here.
Reloading.
Right there.
There.
Keep hitting them.
Cutting their vision.
Enemy B.
Reloading.
Reloading. Wingman's gonna plant.
My ult's not ready.
Shot my wingman. Reloading.
Enemy killed.
One enemy remaining.
I got the spike.
Last player standing. Thirty seconds
planted.
left.
My ult's not ready. Oh, my ult's ready.
Attackers win.
On board. Let's go.
हाँ ओके लॉर्ड थे बाहर खाने गए। हाँ तुम खेल लेना, मैं तो नहीं खेलेगा भाई। भाई जो मर्जी हो भाई, दिन में आ जाओ, रात को नहीं, मेरी नींद शेड्यूल तो हो ही जाए। नहीं नहीं तू, हाँ तू देख, आराम से देख। हाँ तो मैं 12 बजे में माइक ज्यादा नहीं बोल सकता, मजा नहीं आता भाई, नींद भी खराब। इको होती है। इको। पैसे दे दे भाई। हाँ। अरे नहीं रे, गर्मी होती है भाई। हम्म। हम्म। नहीं, ऐसे नहीं है भाई। पागल क्या हो गया? यूपी में पहले पागल। ए, हाँ जी हाँ जी। कॉम्पी का दिल है। हम्म। दूसरे आईडी से क्यों? इसमें क्या दिक्कत है? तो तेरे साथ नहीं कॉम्पी खेल रहा मैं। अरे थोड़ा टफ हो जाएगा, मैचिंग नहीं होगी, लोग गाली देंगे तेरे को भाई, गोल्ड वर्ल्ड में। तो मेरे माइनस भी होगा, रहने दे भाई, रहने दे। पूछ फरहान भाई से, पूछ कितनी देर में आ रहे, कॉल कर। रिचार्ज करा भाई, रिचार्ज। क्यों? छोड़ फिर, अनरेटेड खेलते हुए सोते हैं।
Match found. Match found.
Just take a seat. I got this.
क्या आधे घंटे बाद है वहां चुदा है ना ना मैंने छोड़ दिया ऑफिस जाना पड़ता
Ever thought about making other summons? Like, lions? Or, oh, dragons?
Tried once. It was not pretty.
Someone's in attack.
Watch your eyes! Look sharp!
One enemy remaining. Spike down A.
Spike spotted A.
Okay, take a break, guys. None of my stuff has malfunctioned yet. Can we celebrate that?
Can someone get this? Thank you.
Let's fly. Dropped. Multiple enemies B. Someone's in attacker spawn.
Spike down, attacker spawn. One enemy remaining.
Reloading.
That was easy.
मैं मार्शल लगा के बैठा हूँ तेरे में तूने मेरे मुंह पे फ्लैश कर दिया भाई हाँ तो क्यों नहीं आऊंगा हाँ तो मैं तेरे पीछे था तो मेरे मुंह पे भी तो होएगा ना मेरे को तो हुआ ना
अरे मेरा माइक ऑन ऑफ है कब से? मेरे को बता तो, मेरा माइक ऑफ है। मेरे पास चैट पे कोई रहता ही नहीं तो कैसे मालूम चलेगा?
Spike planted.
Watch your eyes! No charges left.
Reloading.
Going up.
Last player standing.
अरे नहीं, मेरा माइक ऑफ था, मेरे को पता ही नहीं था। अभी देखा मैंने, तूने बताया करके मेरे को पता चला, नहीं तो मालूम ही नहीं पड़ता। पूरा गेम ऐसे निकल जाता था।
Can someone get this? Can someone get this?
मेरे मुंह में क्यों दही जमी?
Let's make some chaos.
क्या ही है दही में? ये पे
Flash! Flash! Careful now. No charges left.
Spike down A.
Enemy kill.
Spike planted.
अरे रीलोड पे थी मेरी गन ना। वो ऑफर की शादी है ना नेक्स्ट में, मेरी शादी की हो रही नेक्स्ट में, वो कर ले, तेरी शादी का जोड़ा मिल गया है। जल्दी से कर ले, दावत दे, शायद उसी बहाने बिरयानी खाने मिल जाएगी।
You up? Stay safe. You're going back in.
सर जी बाय देना, नहीं तो स्किन है तो दे दो ना मेरे को एक पेन।
Can someone get this?
ये बेस्ट है वेंडल की स्किन सबसे।
ये वाली मस्त है।
चला के देखिए, बहुत लाइट है ये। फैंटम लगेगी तेरे को कि फैंटम चला रहा है।
इन लोग ये आ रहे फिर से।
प्रे करके देख, चला के देख।
हाँ ये पे है, हार्बर है।
Watch your eyes!
दोनों स्टर्न आ गए।
Come on, let's go!
My ult's ready. Spike down, attacker spawn.
I suggest you move!
One enemy remaining.
मौली कर अपने पे, जल्दी मौली कर।
Careful now.
पीछे से आएगा वो, बीच से आएगा।
Reloading.
ये अरे
डिश इधर है भाई, ऊपर।
आई थिंक रोप से आएगा वो।
30 seconds left.
Who else is having a great time? Just me?
मस्त है भाई ये बंडल।
I'm gutted.
बिग फैन भाईजान। अरे रमन भाई, रमन सिंह पाजी क्या हाल है? बड़े दिन बाद कैसे हो पाजी? मेरी शादी में बिरयानी डन। भाई तेरी शादी में वैसे मैं आके खाऊंगा तो नहीं बिरयानी, बट तूने बोल दिया तो उसके लिए ठीक है। उधर हरबर है। कुत्ता कर इधर।
Flash.
You should run. Spike planted.
I know exactly where you are.
अरे यार साइफर
नीचे।
One enemy remaining.
साइफर डाउन कर दे। फिनिश कर दिए लोग। जी रोशनी क्यों आना, हाँ और बिरयानी भी खाना। दुआ है भाई की तो अच्छे रहेंगे ना। अरे यार रमन भाई बस हमेशा ऑलवेज भाई। और कैसा चल रहा है रमन? ब्लॉगिंग तुम्हारी?
Have any patterns emerged yet?
क्यों आना, हाँ और बिरयानी भी खाना। ओके देखेंगे। वैसे तो मन नहीं करता यार किसी की शादी में जाके खाना ना खाने का। अपन सोलो। एक सेकंड आया।
चल जाती है ना तेरी की खुद की शादी नहीं हो रही।
यस। अरे डोर बंद करने गया था, डोर खुला था।
Player standing.
120 साइफर। नाइस सर जी। साइफर 120 है। नियॉन का है, आप नहीं पता।
Spike planted.
ऑकर की शादी में बिरयानी खाएंगे। ओके मेरी शादी में बिरयानी नहीं रहेगी, टेंशन मत करिए। नाइस ट्राई। और रमन कहाँ है आजकल?
I'm twitchy here. Let's go already.
शादी में जाना है भाई एक।
Help a girl out, would you? Cheers, mate.
काय उतना करते भाई।
किसे कह रहा?
काय देखो बोल रहा।
Enemy in attacker spawn. Reloading. Enemy spotted A.
Watch your eyes.
hold 40 KJ 40 Cypher 40.
I know exactly where you are.
Face your fear! Last player standing.
बड़े साले कोई एबिलिटी नहीं यूज कर रहा है बराबर।
Spike planted.
Eyes down.
1 HP failed.
3.
1 HP away failed. Failed यार।
कोई नहीं Trash.
Once more into battle. I'm not tired. Are you? Can someone get this?
क्या करूँ? सेव कर लूँ।
ये ले तो ये ले।
कौन सी? अरे नहीं तुम यूज करो।
उसको बेच देना, उसको बेच।
I'll find their cipher.
तुम क्या चला रहे?
चक्कू।
अरे अच्छा। भाई बी पे कोई है ही नहीं।
छोड़ना।
Many enemies in attack.
ओकर भाई तो सबको फ्लैश करता भाई, क्या करता है भाई? ओकर तो रहने दे भाई, जिंदगी खराब। क्या 10 बंदों को ब्लाइंड कर दिया तूने? क्या
भाई समझ के बोल रहा हूं यार।
फ्लैश गलत किया मैं।
पागल है क्या?
One enemy remaining.
सारे टीम अपने फ्लैश हुई है।
कॉर्नर पे खड़े होके तो किया था मैंने।
तो बोल के करना, फ्लैश कर रहा हूँ। सब तो तेरे से आगे हैं, तू पीछे से आगे फ्लैश कर रहा है।
फाइलो सर जी मेरे
तेरे पे नहीं आएगा थे।
नहीं रुक जा 2 मिनट रुक।
I suggest you move.
हाँ 88
स्काई हील कर दे।
Healing over here.
जी भैया
धन्यवाद सर।
88 हार्बर।
अरे
Hawk out. Reloading. Squad. Healing.
Blocking sight.
Satchel out. Satchel out. Hawk out.
Spike planted.
ये कहाँ प्लान कर दिया इसने?
ठीक है।
ये तो पता लग गया।
वेरी रियलिस्टिक।
अच्छा इससे क्या मालूम पड़ता?
मेन
One enemy remaining.
हाँ सर जी।
Reloading. Grenade. Hawk out.
Was that important?
साइफर का जो स्टन लगाता है वो।
Remember, stay out of the fire.
Can someone get
Super high level
सर
tactic.
जी
Remember
गन
that.
देना एक।
Please drop the.
Help a girl out, would ya?
Please will you drop the.
Help a girl out, would you?
No.
Come on, let's go.
Spike down B.
ओए मुंह पे जाके रीलोड करना है, जाके रीलोड करना है। क्या हो गया नुपुर?
Grenade.
बाहर था।
One enemy
ये रेस
remaining.
शुरू कर रहा है क्या?
हार्बर अननोन भाई मार रहा है वो, कहाँ थ्रो कर रहा है? 4 मार चुका है। स्पाइक इधर ही है देख।
Heal up, squad.
ये सही क्या इसका?
Satchel out. Satchel out. Hawk out.
Last player standing.
भाई इसको बोलते थ्रो करना।
Last round before the switch.
Spend it now, or it's gone.
Help a girl out, would ya?
क्या ये हेड हेड पे मारते हैं लोग, मजा आती है देखने में। पता नहीं अपना कब बैठेगा मार।
We go. Can someone get this?
Seek them out. Hawk out.
Reloading. Bomb buddy out.
Multiple enemies B.
Time to hunt.
Come on, let's go!
They're concussed. Hawk out.
It's high.
Many enemies B. Reloading.
Spike planted.
Enemy spotted B.
Last player standing.
I suggest you move!
Switching sides.
Even with numbers, anything can still happen.
Remember that.
Need a drop. Thanks. Reloading. Reloading. Reloading.
Reloading.
Hawk out. Blinded.
Grenade.
Reloading. Healing.
Enemy spotted A.
Enemy spotted A.
Last player standing.
और कितना हाकूंगा यार मैं।
New fight, new tactics, keep it fresh, yeah?
Need a drop. Thanks.
Can I get a drop?
As one. Reloading. Reloading. Hawk out.
Reloading.
Reloading.
Very realistic.
Block in sight.
Enemy spotted A.
Enemy spotted A.
फिर मैं दिखता होगा इन लोग को।
Here. For you.
Engineer killed.
Last player standing. One enemy remaining.
Their MVP is mine. Let's do this.
Can someone get this? Thank you.
Let's take what they have.
There. Grenade!
Reloading.
Bomb buddy out. Whole cat. Satchel out.
Blinded.
Woo! Ult's ready. Whole cat.
Going up.
Last player standing.
Paint? Check.
कहाँ
Charges?
हग रहा हूँ यार?
Check. Brakes? Nowhere in sight.
Can someone get this?
Can I get a drop? Thanks. Can I get a drop? Thanks.
Don't hold back.
Grenade! Reloading. Whole cat! Okay.
Blinded. Reloading.
Barrier created.
Enemy spotted A.
Revive कर दे.
Last player standing.
Revive कर दे.
Three down.
This is crazy. It feels like we've been doing
तेरे को
this
तो अभी
forever.
कॉम्पी खेलना था
Anyone
होगा.
else feel like that?
हेलो.
Just me?
Oh.
Okay.
तो सर आज दर्द दे
अगर
रहा
तेरे को भी
है एक्चुअली मेरा सर दर्द दे रहा है इसके लिए पता नहीं क्यों अचानक खाना ना खा के आया तब से हो रहा है दिमाग ही नहीं काम कर रहा है
कोई नहीं
I suggest
Face
you
your
move.
fear!
Embarrassing. Going up.
Spike down B.
कौन सी वाला इससे क्या भी ब्लॉक किया दे.
नहीं मैं यहाँ कर रहा था
हाँ दे.
Watch your eyes.
I'm pissed.
फ्रंट भी हो पर आएगी
One enemy remaining.
I know पर चलते हुए मार देते लोग पता नहीं कैसा मार देते चलते चलते अच्छा साइफर को डिटेक्ट होता है जब इस पे क्लिक होता है तो
30 seconds left. Last player standing.
भाई
Spike down B.
टावर के पास है स्पाइक.
Hawk out!
टाइम नहीं है भाई. टावर.
10 seconds left. Clutch.
Yeah.
I'm amped.
भाई इसको
Let's
गन
go.
चाहिए था
I got things to do.
Can someone get this?
Let me show you how the boss does it.
ठीक है वो लोग
Enemy spotted A.
Our spike carrier is killed.
Spike down A.
Reloading. Blocking sight.
Hawk out.
Stay down.
My ult's ready.
Come on, let's go!
Blocking sight.
भाई क्या है?
Got spike.
Reload.
अरे यार
Spike
That's
down
the
A.
Enemy spotted A.
Last player standing.
We're here because we're the best. Don't any of you forget that.
फिर को अल्ट मारने को बोला कौन था?
इसको
तेरे को?
तो नहीं थे बट मैंने कर लेता
तो वो फिर सेफ जगह से मारना।
Can someone get this? Thank you.
Find the weak point and break it. What's this?
Reloading.
Hawk out.
Satchel out.
Got him.
Enemies.
Grenade. Reloading. Here.
Eliminate.
One enemy remaining.
Your duty is not over.
Careful now.
You are different.
Anyone have any splints? I may have jammed my fingers. Multiple fingers.
Keep up.
Hawk out!
Enemy spotted A.
Careful now.
Colorful kill.
Very.
Okay. My ult's ready. Grenade! Spike dropped.
Enemy and defender spawn.
Satchel out.
Got spike.
One enemy remaining.
Spike planted.
Wind. Show me where to go.
Can someone get this? Thank you. Can someone get this?
Reloading.
Reloading.
Seek them out.
Found one. Grenade!
Careful now.
Somebody out. Please God. Headshot.
Spike carriers.
Drop है.
Spike down A. One enemy remaining.
वो drop है maybe.
I got the spike.
Last
Spike
player
carriers down.
standing.
Tell you what, a day working the farm would do these fellas good. Help a girl out, would you? Cheers, mate.
party.
I suggest you move.
Reloading.
You should run.
Enemy spotted A.
Reloading. Satchel out. Satchel out. Enemy spotted B.
Going up.
I know exactly where you are.
Wall raised. Flag planted. My ultimate is ready.
One enemy remaining.
My ult's ready. Dying would have sucked.
Y'all better keep up.
Help a girl out, would ya? Cheers, mate. Help a girl out, would you? Let's flush them out. What's this? Hawk out! Grenade!
Lock in sight. Here.
Ciao!
Face your fear! Reloading. Time to hunt.
Hi!
Blinded.
Watch your eyes.
Healing.
Enemy
Good attack.
Last player standing. Match point.
If you see one of my creatures, it's a good thing, alright? We'll figure out what they do eventually.
Can someone get this? Thank you.
Let's make them dance.
Reloading.
Here! Grenade! Hawk out!
Bomb buddy out. Lock in sight. Barrier. Reloading.
Last player standing. Last player standing. Flawless. Defenders win.
Hello. हेलो हेलो
हेलो
हाँ सर जी गई क्या हेलो आवाज
गेम कैसी रही फिर?
कौन सी गेम ये वाली
ये वाली
मेरी तो बहुत बुरी रही बहुत बेकार मैं सर नहीं काम कर रहा पता नहीं क्या हुआ
मैं भी जा रहा हूँ
चलेगा मैं भी जाता हूँ और तांसु कैसी है हेलो अहमद गेम टू एनर्जी का है
When does TSM play? Those are good questions to be asking, and questions I don't have the answers to. Welcome back, everybody. CLOUD9, 100 Thieves. They're standing by.
Brenna, do you have an answer? You played for TSM at once.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah.
No.
Just keep waiting. Just keep waiting. One of these days. All right, it's time for us to break out the whiteboards here, talk about some predictions for the first series of the day. It's 100 Thieves on one side, CLOUD9 on the other. I don't want to go first, so I'm just gonna make you go first.
Okay. So I was joking around with the dressing room, so I'm dressed kind of like an artist today, right? With this shirt.
Yeah.
So I decided to add a little bit more art into my prediction. So hopefully I didn't slander the logo, but I'm definitely going for the Thieves. They're definitely, yes, maybe not looking as good as I thought they would be from the get-go, but they're still showing some good signs of promises. There's still an opportunity for an upset.
All right, well executed on the drawing there. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Athena, what are you thinking here?
So actually, I was joking around with the wardrobe today, and they told me that I can't. So I decided to draw my prediction, and so we also have 100 Thieves. I hyped up Bang. I'll hype up the whole team. I think it's gonna go 100 Thieves' way.
That's so funny. I was also having a conversation. No, I'm kidding. I am going for 100 Thieves as well. I think this is near a coin flip at the end of the day. And so that's going to be a tough one, I think, for either of these teams, but giving the edge to 100 Thieves at that. Predictions are locked in. I think it's about time that we talk about difference makers here. Ultimately, when it comes down to 100 Thieves winning, what is it?
Yeah, so it's the way that they're able to execute into sites. I think you're bringing back that 2021 style of 100 Thieves, always being really good at executions, but there is some gaps in trying to hold it that their opponents, EG, were able to do last week, so they got to be careful to brush that up.
There you have it. Some final thoughts before we dive into it. We're set, so let's go ahead and get Saturday started off right. 4 teams will take to the stage today. Anything can happen. Anything will happen in week 3 of VCT Americas, and all of that's going to start in just about a moment. I'm so happy to be here back in my home studio. Now the Riot Games Arena in Los Angeles. VCT Americas starts right now.
This stream contains fast-flashing images that may affect viewers who are susceptible to photosensitive epilepsy or other photosensitivities. Viewer discretion is advised.
आसपास
Everyone was talking about him, and this is going to be the guy to look out for. Too much Cryo again. Does this guy miss? Does Cryo ever miss? No, he doesn't. Olha, Snese! Escala bem! Faz duplo abate! Vamos, Fogão! Se acaba tempo e
Yeah.
Bom, agora a gente enfrenta a NRG, eles adaptam muito durante o jogo. Você pode esperar tudo deles, tem que respeitar os caras.
Tom left in this 1v2, he gets one. Letting it swing into him, and it does. Huge out from Finesse. Can he get the 1v1? Jeff on the tap.
Oh, man,
Finesse with the swing.
We respect them a lot. We know they have good players, and we're not going to underestimate them.
Por cima o Muriz aparece bem. Leva 2. 3 kills do Capita, ele quer mais. Rotação, são 3 jogadores chegando. Segura o primeiro, viu o segundo. Vem o terceiro. Monstro!
Their new additions are still pretty strong, and you know, I expect them to be a pretty tough matchup.
Still stuck towards the top. Wow. As Rooney fights from the back. Make that even 3 for him.
CLOUD9.
There's that position from Zeppa. Lands onto the second kill. Dodging the blade storm to get the third. Trying to salvage the Thrash, but Leaf is once again there.
I think 100 Thieves is a solid team. If that team catches their confidence again, they could be insane.
Asna fighting back towards Sewers, and he gets the 3K. As now Bang. Oh, looking for the transfer, and he's gonna get it.
हेलो बोल देखता हूँ बताता हूँ बोलता हूँ थोड़ी देर से Zeppa, Stella, Rooney. क्या ही मोमेंट बनता है भाई सब में
I love it. He did the snail. He did the snail.
I loved absolutely every single moment of that walk-on. The battle of 1-1 teams here in week 3, CLOUD9 versus 100 Thieves We were joking. Is it too late to change our predictions?
I was gonna say.
100 Thieves guys, they got all out of whack now. I'm worried about the shot calling and the synergy at this point if we're going on stage in the wrong order.
I thought I was the one that was nervous on the desk because I get to be with the best host in the industry and one of the best minds here in Game Changers for Valorant. But it definitely does look here at the players walking up the stage that maybe the nervousness is coming out from the Thieves.
All of that was just so much fun. Also, did you see the fist bump at the end?
That's it. He did the snail.
A little bit.
You ever?
Yeah.
I do those.
Get him with the snail.
Yep.
All right, let's do our best to refocus in on this series. As much fun as it was to watch all of that take place. Even just referencing the way that the players themselves were talking in that little video preview, right? We heard Cloud9 members talking about how scary this 100 Thieves roster can be, especially if they find their confidence again, right? And I think that's a big factor here, especially as we play week over week in a league format on stage with a crowd. That's going to take some getting used to. And you got to wonder, when will they find that peak of confidence?
Yeah, I mean, for both these teams, when they are at their full confidence kind of play zones, and that's when you can tell that they're fully comfortable. And I think one of the biggest things about playing on a team is in order to be comfortable, you have to feel like you are having fun. And I think that is a really big thing. And it's really hard to do when you're in front of a whole crowd and there's cameras and lights flashing and everything, you know, but it's really interesting to see which one of these teams is going to be able to kind of pick it up, play it like they do in scrims, you know, like just have fun with it and also win.
Yeah, that's definitely what I saw from the last 2 weeks, actually. I was seeing Cloud9 coming into the tournament here for the VCT Americas. Starting off week 1, week 2, Jake, like there was a lot of pressure on his shoulders, but he's already coming out smiling in the camera shots, the player shots that we have in between the rounds. I think this is still going to be a very good series that might even go to 3.
Yeah, well, if we want to go to 3, we'll see what maps it would have to happen on. It'll be Cloud9 with the first of the map vetoes, and it's banned towards Icebox.
I mean, I would ban it too. I saw the way Bang was playing on that, I would ban it too. I don't blame them for that at all.
Fair enough. Pearl will follow pretty quickly here for 100 Thieves. What do you make of that one, Vince Silly?
It's actually quite interesting because Pearl was also the map that was played last week by Cloud9, and it seemed that they were figured out when they're playing against Loud, focusing a lot for Zelsis around the orb on the A site, around that Phoenix play. And maybe because of that read too, they still might be afraid of the face-to-face battles. Going to Lotus, though, that's going to be a very fun one.
How much do you index into your opponent's performance on maps versus just your own, securing your own maps?
I think for us, we kind of prioritize our bans for our opponents. Recently, we have been perma-banning because it's been a little clustery, but I think banning your opponent's best map, picking your best map is really good, and that's why I think the C9 pick on Lotus is really good. I mean, we did see it, the last time we saw it was in Lock-In where they did win, and I know 100 Thieves have not looked that good, and then the 100 Thieves pick of Ascent is also really interesting.
Definitely. I think looking back at that Lotus is, again, one of the key components of the coaching staff around C9 with MC and Cooper going into maybe maps where you don't expect C9 to come in as like a new roster. Hey, can we play the common maps? Should we play the Havens? Should we play the Ascents of the world? And when they picked Split last week on top of that and got that map against Loud, I definitely do think that they have something cooked up here at Lotus, where even for 100 Thieves, they didn't look that great, as you mentioned, Myrna, because they had to Fade coming into that. They had a Cypher going through at Lock-In too, and it looked like it wasn't as clean as you want it to be. So this is a great opportunity for C9 to put another one early onto the board.
Cloud9 boys in the house. Love to see it. Love to see it. LCS champions. They'll soon be on their way to London to compete in MSI, but hoping to watch their boys take a dub in VCT Americas. Van said he wants all 3. He said he thinks this series can go all 3, but now that you've seen the actual map picks, are we going to make it to Haven, you think, Athena?
I think that we will. I think it is a 3-map pick. I think the comps are going to be really interesting, and when it does come to Haven, I think it's going to be really close, but I think these comps coming into Lotus are going to be really interesting. We do see Leaf on the Neon, which is going to be super exciting. We have Sky, obviously one of the best initiators to have on this map at this moment. We have Viper coming in. We have the Omen for Bang. We have the double controller setup from C9. It's going to be a really fun game to watch. A double initiator on 100 Thieves is also really cool.
And now the Thieves are seeing that strength there going into that Killjoy as that Sentinel for their composition. So Stellar switching away from that Cypher into that Killjoy is going to be something very nice to see. But what's very intriguing for me is Asuna going on to this Breach. They're going into trying to support Cryo as much as they can into the entries. I mean, there's a lot of
खेल रहा नहीं
pressure on the
अरे
game to try to perform
खेल
and
रहे
get
थे
the
फरहान
entries
भाई
they
अब
want.
भी
So
रशीद
hopefully
भाई
Asuna is
गए
there for that second trade.
Yeah, I mean, it works out perfectly
फिर
because
मैं
for
चले गए
100
सोने
Thieves kind of
माँ
going
को फोन किए
against
थे
the double controller, they're going to need as much use
बाहर
as
से
they
खाने
can
पे
to
इसके
get
लिए
onto that site. The amount of delay that this team has
बैठ गया ऐसे
is
मैच
just
देख
way
रहा था
too much. Like, they can delay for so long that 100 Thieves is going to have to push you, and it's the same
आएंगे तो
vice
वो लोग
versa. I think both
खेलते
these comps are like kind of the yin and yang of each other.
I'm excited. I'm a big Breach fan, so I'm happy to see that one locked in. You've got so many blinds on that team between Sky Breach and even Omen being able to add in there. Comps are locked in. Teams are ready to battle here on Lotus for our first map of the day. It's time for us to send it over to our casters. As we do, I want to wish both Wyatt and Brent well. Please get better soon, my dudes. Until then, we're handing it over to a brand new duo here, Esports Doug and Sideshow.
अरे आप फोन करो ना फरहान भाई मेरे को बोल के गए फिर मेरे को चढ़ेंगे फालतू में
It's so good.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Now, I want to get your thoughts on this because this feels like a battle of the middle of the pack, but Josh, it's for very different reasons. I think if you consider both teams at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I think at the beginning of the year, you would have expected this to be a blockbuster match. Both teams really fighting for the absolute top of America. And for various different reasons, that hasn't exactly materialized. And instead, you've got a situation where I think 100 Thieves especially have higher expectations coming into this game and are going to be expected to kind of put CLOUD9 away. And if they can't do that, maybe it has concatenating repercussions for them as we move deeper into this.
Having
said that,
उधर टूर्नामेंट है उनका वॉलीबॉल का तो बाहर है
I
वो
think is so interesting. I expect them to be
फोन किया था
very
उसको
prepped as they were when they played that first map
तो
against
बोला
CLOUD.
जाऊंगा नहीं
Oh, they're going aggressive. Look at how far Cryo's already gone, but he got flashed in response by Jake and he falls. Got it.
And that is a huge trailblazer too. So many people stunned up. Look at Asuna's health. Bang and Asuna. Barely with a shred of life between them. And Stella's on his lurk play again. Stella was playing Cypher last time we saw them play Lotus, and he was doing this kind of stuff all the time. Just trying to contact back into A, using his cam. On Killjoy, he has even less ability to do that, I think.
Well, I think the lurk has already been had. If it wasn't the turret, it was also because Zelsa spotted, but I don't know if they're expecting Stellar to be creeping this far up.
Stella has to make a play in this kind of situation, and CLOUD9 are reading it.
Whew. Now 2 members weak on the side of CLOUD9, and Jake can leave. You see the utility set up. They start to flood out onto the site. Paying the tip of the spear with 53 HP. Spotting the first and falling at the hands of Zeppa. But it's traded right back. It's Stellar trying to hit the transfer. Not able to do so. Derek in this 1v2. You see
nice.
Delsis gets 3 on the round, and CLOUD9 are on the board first.
Great stuff for CLOUD9 in the pistol round. Yeah. They handled that right from the very beginning. 100 Thieves had a big plan to try and take B control, trap a player there in the breakable door. Look at them pinging it on the minimap here as well. You know, clearly, that's where the round went wrong. But at the same time, by the time they got back into A, they actually made a lot of their fundamental strengths work. Derek, Asuna, Stella all combining together, playing angles off each other. Made it somewhat winnable. I am interested in general to see how this attacking composition works, though. For 100 Thieves, we've seen the meta for this map really heavily trend towards double smokes. And they have abandoned that. 0 and 2 during lock-in, playing the solo Astra. Now here Bang swaps over to Omen, but it's not a significant shift. And we also saw NRG fall flat on their face trying to run the double flash comp. It's not exactly the same, but double initiator hasn't really been working.
There's definitely some similarities there. You see this crossfire set up and the entry to B. And I think they know that Leaf is there as well, so yeah, he's gonna have to tuck tail and get away.
I think for 100 Thieves too, this will be giving flashbacks to that first round of lock-in where they played against Footballist, and the Neon Comp was on the other side there, delivering them a pretty hefty upset loss in that first map, but one they battled back through.
I don't know anyone expected that.
No, certainly not. I mean, did anyone expect CLOUD9 to be this competent, honestly, with those 2 roster changes that they've made too? I think Valorant is full of surprises, and this team is definitely delivering them. 100 Thieves so slow in this round, though. Only classics, no serious danger.
Yeah, I think they're waiting for Asuna's fault line to come back up, which it just did, and there it is. Drop, Jake playing inside the smoke to try to deal some damage, and that flash is gorgeous, man. Nobody could see a thing.
And I would expect 100 Thieves slow pace to continue, even once they get the rifles on board. With only one smokes player, it's quite difficult to maneuver your way around the map.
Yeah, sure. Especially a 3-site map.
Yeah, you see the best teams in the world on this often take C control early, they'll push a player up B, re-clear A about a minute mark, and at that point, the attackers have full control of the map. It's a very attack-sided map in general, too. But let's see. Here now with 100 Thieves, rifles on board, and a 3-player stack for the defenders looking to fight over Mound.
You wonder if they're expecting some aggression there, if they're trying to fight for an orb. No one really close, so they just want the space. Just waiting on contact. CLOUD9 with the lighter weaponry here. Instantly dropped by Asuna.
Oh, what perfect crosshair placement from Asuna there.
And it doesn't get much easier than that.
I mean, the idea is good from CLOUD9. There's a one-way smoke from the Omen, so they put up their Viper wall, and that makes the one-way useless. They can threaten like they've repositioned, or in fact, fight heavily over it, but...
He's had?
Wow,
I mean, they read him like a book. Rooney had to try to get out of there, and that was all off the setup of the Viper wall that you mentioned. It was intended to feign the possibility of crossing. They did, and they die there as well.
I think in other rounds, you're going to see 100 Thieves still have to put a lot of pressure in that area, despite the fact that CLOUD9 are probably not going to play that heavily, but that is a very simple round taken by 100 Thieves. I mean, right from the off, Asuna controls it, and he's got his Rolling Thunder online too.
Round 4, by the way. Excellent response on that round. A flawless round. They keep all weapons. They may have taken some damage, but really not a ton. Not a bad response. Note here also, Zelsis 1 point away from having the lockdown online.
I don't think he's going to get an opportunity for it. And in fact, CLOUD9 are going for the same kind of setup over towards C.
If at first you don't succeed,
keep bashing your head against the brick wall.
That's how the saying goes.
Yeah, I think so.
But this time, Leaf is much further up. He's playing just on the other side of the wall. And he slipped through. Note, there's no lock, there's no alarm bot, there's no turret to push this flank.
And the Trailblazer gets used to kind of re-clear this B area. And normally you're going to see teams use that over towards A. Instead, 100 Thieves contacting their way in with Cryo, Bang. On the pistol round, it was Stella doing the same thing. No real utility being used heavily in the A side of the map, but still about 1 minute on the clock, they re-clear that. Leaf is very, very pushed up here.
He is. He followed the Trailblazer up, and now Stella just on the other side. The shots are clean from Leaf, and that's an opener for CLOUD9.
It's lovely. They know exactly where 100 Thieves are going. There's a Rolling Thunder to deal with, but other than that, CLOUD9 should be set up.
Look at Jake in a position to make a huge play, and that's a spike.
Down A.
Well out of reach of the remaining members of 100 Thieves. As Jake gets the second, the third is teed up and dropped. The guy continues to answer the call for CLOUD9.
It's so impressive what these players have been able to accomplish. They fit into the team beautifully. I mean, Rooney and Jake, massive credit to them, and MCE for, you know, knowing where to look, finding these talents.
I'm out of here.
You know, it's funny, I had a conversation with him shortly before the season started with MCE and kind of like feeling him out, getting his thoughts. Hey man, how you feeling going into the season? You doing okay? And he said, I think we're going to be just fine.
Yeah.
And man, has that not been accurate so far.
Yeah. I do not like this contacty approach to the A site from 100 Thieves, though.
I agree.
If anybody's trying to challenge over there towards Rubble, you know, whether that be Leaf or whether that be, you know, Jake in the mid-round, they don't have any utility really to clear that area. They're going to flash it at the beginning of this round, but it's the same kind of setup for CLOUD9. 3 players mount, controlling C, and it kind of drives 100 Thieves into these A takes. Trailblazer again used only 10 seconds on the clock.
That flash is early and Leaf has gotten through. What do they have? Does Austin have any utility left? Yeah, he still has everything.
Look how CLOUD9 are messing with this, though. Jake going for an info play over towards C.
Lockdown, use B. Trying to create some space for the attacking side.
And specifically, nice positioning here from Cryo and Bang, too. The Trailblazer, though, stopping things a little here. And also giving information that they weren't pushing off the back of the lockdown. So now CLOUD9 are anticipating this hit coming through to A, and that's exactly where the spike is going. The reads are beautiful. At what point is Asuna going to decide to use the Rolling Thunder?
Here.
He has a lot of tools at his disposal. So has the fault line as well. And there's the Rolling Thunder. Going to pave the way. Is it going to hit anyone? No, I believe that hit missed the 2 members up in heaven as well.
And this, what a position for Leaf to be playing.
He's going to play spoiler. That's the spike once again. Sitting in no man's land. They have to get through it, and then they have to clear a tree if they want to get the spike back. Then they have the lockdown they're going to have to navigate to. This just spells disaster for 100 Thieves.
I mean, look at Bang's POV there, and you can sense the chaos and the frustration. He's been left in a position, surrounded, ambushed. And despite running a double flash composition that has fault line, aftershock, all the flashes in the world, Trailblazer, they just aren't being able to secure these positions on A. They didn't use any utility to try and flush out Leaf in tree. And despite getting into the site, they didn't really control, you know, the surrounding areas. Just got ambushed by Cloud9.
You know, the crazy thing too is 100 Thieves haven't been using early utility to control A main, and Cloud9 haven't played aggressively on A main. So imagine another round where Cloud9 calls something different and they decide to play up aggressively on A while 100 Thieves are trying to contact their way through.
Yeah,
it could be another disastrous round.
It could be dangerous for 100 Thieves, yeah.
Early timeout called.
Yeah, and I think this one in the right place. Listen, when you look at the series overall, I don't think it's unreasonable to favor 100 Thieves here. As we move later towards Ascent and towards Haven, I mean, those are maps where certainly we've seen some stumbles from Cloud9 and 100 Thieves maybe looking a bit more comfortable there.
Sure.
But this first map is giving me serious flashbacks to how well drilled Cloud9 looked in that game against Loud. When they come out straight, instantly, well, in that instance, to a 7-0 lead. This, though, looks like it could be as dominant despite 100 Thieves grabbing one in the middle. They just look like they're in control. They've put some serious time and thought into what to do on Lotus, adapting their composition, changing away from the chamber where Ye was at his most superb, and instead pushing Leaf onto, you know, the star duelist role. Cells is where he's comfortable, playing a very meta comp.
What do 100 Thieves do out of this one? They used the Rolling Thunder, in the previous round. Asuna doesn't have that here.
I think you fight C. 100 Thieves got their best opportunity of winning a round, and in fact did very easily when Asuna was spraying into C. But not just that, Doug. You can flash through this smoke and try and clear it out with the guiding lights. They've got all the tools that they need to be able to take C control early.
Slightly different here out from Cloud9. Only 2 going into bound. They clear out the turret that's intended to cover the flank, and then they rotate back.
This is going to end up being a full retake, I think, from Cloud9. You just look at their positioning. They were playing aggressive early for C and B control. They're going to be here ready. They can either flood in when the plant gets tapped, or they can wait to do something big and set, and Zelsa's position has not been cleared.
No, and he's been so patient, too, not making a peep. You've got Leaf with ult. Do they choose to use it? 3 members, 2 in tree, and then what just on the other side at half wall? Cryo not able to find the first. Can Asuna do something different? As he trades it right back. Dancing around, feeling pressure from either side, and he's overwhelmed. Now a 3-2 number still in favor of 100 Thieves here as they have a good shot at winning this round. What can Rooney do? Member spotted, Rooney dropped, and Jake left alone.
Difficult situation for Jake and Rooney. The retake not quite working there. 100 Thieves able to hold on.
Well, let me ask you this, because we've seen a very similar flavor out from 100 Thieves so far, but this one worked. Well, what was different?
The difference being that they managed to get into good post-plant positions. I mean...
Arre.
Well done. All good. Sorry. All good, don't worry. All good. That was actually planned.
Calculated.
Yeah, that was calculated. No, I think the big difference there being the Cloud9 were playing aggressive towards C and B, right? They weren't A. They were able to get an easy entry in, and then their players were playing very heavy post plants around tree, and there were no players there to disrupt the site from coming through in the first place.
There's no flank, there's no pressure from spawn.
Exactly.
What's the difference here from Cloud9? We talked about this a few rounds ago. This time 3, intending to pressure A.
Let's go.
We'll see how 100 Thieves handle this, as it seems like they aren't really interested in going that way at all.
Very difficult to challenge that early stun that Leaf's going to throw out there, but instantly going for a rotate.
They leave Jake at A. While everything, I mean, your Killjoy utility from Zelsis, you've got 3 members playing over at Waterfall 2.
So they're hoping to try and crunch players on C right now. Look at this flash going in, clearing areas, Cryo opening the door. Getting set up for some C control just through the door there would be a nice play had Cloud9 been playing aggressively in that area. But the defensive setups have been mixed up.
I think this was also intended to be exploratory from 100 Thieves, right? Apply a little bit of pressure, get Derek in a spot where he can get his ult, and then use it. Now Seeker's invested.
This feels like an A hit too, and look where the spike is. Complete other direction. but Celsius is holding on, and he's going to be asked to do a lot.
Yeah, do they bite? Do they bite on the fake? As they invest the secrets of their own. And it is going to tag a couple of members, so there is a false sense of information here of confidence that the hit is A.
At the same time, though, alarm bot triggered over on C, and Celsius now, his watchful eyes poking towards that choke. And the Trailblazer clears out B as well. They're pretty confident this isn't going to be a pivot. It's going to end C. Here come Leaf, here comes Zephyr, the cavalry's coming.
The triple pump fake is taking place. Cry, the only one with fall. You can't imagine he uses it here. Celsius is able to spam through the utility, through the smoke, to another kill, and it's clean from CLOUD9.
What a shutdown. They always know where 100 Thieves are ending. I mean, they just have a ton of map control. And I think 100 Thieves are really struggling here to retake areas and threaten multiple places. The way that Zephyr, I mean, the Trailblazer, to me, is the biggest difference between these two teams, which might seem like a small thing to pick up on, but Derek is playing it right at the beginning of the rounds, flushing out anywhere that Cloud9 could be playing aggressively off the rip, whereas instead, Zephyr's using it to re-clear places and get them information when there's like a minute or less on the clock, and that helps inform their rotates. And so 100 Thieves, in some sense, are having to burn that really important piece of util because they're worried about how aggressive Cloud9 could be. And that's one of the advantages of playing the Neon. Sometimes the threat is worse than the action.
Interesting the way the pathing worked out. The setup is there for Cryo. He's able to get an opener in a second, too. This is very reminiscent to the opening round. They wanted to set Cryo up to make a play. This time he does.
But they've still been denied their access to the B site. And so, Rooney getting pressured here, jumping classics all over.
Two heads spotted. The third, no idea. Sucker punching him down into the next round.
There.
And there's where a measure of confidence can be very beneficial. Overwhelming.
He doesn't ult here, right? Surely not.
I don't think it would help him.
3 members. Brutal setup. He doesn't even check. Oh, dear. Oh, no. What was that? 1v3 here. Jake falls.
Wow.
Wow. Uncomfortable.
But an unexpected eco round for 100 Thieves to be able to pull out.
Yeah.
Cryo finally having a moment where he's able to really flex his muscles on Jet. That's what they were trying to do on the pistol, absolutely. Like you said, Doug. Set Cryo up for one of those aggressive plays. But they've really struggled to get a read on where that vulnerable spot is. And I think they found a nice avenue there, being able to get into that BC connector. There's often going to be a rotate player there. There's often going to be a killjoy that can't really look after themselves if they're getting overwhelmed with flashes and stuns. But I don't really see anywhere else on the map where they're going to be able to make a play like that work.
I do think, though, if you're 100 Thieves, like you continue to trust Cryo, right? Like you continue to try to set him up, and maybe you're poking and prodding to try to find where he can find some success, but you continue to put the ball in his hand, surely.
Yeah, I mean, part of what they're doing actually is playing quite slowly in most of their rounds and not really having him explode in with a lot of utility. So maybe that's an adjustment that they could make.
Sure.
Try and play very aggressive in post plants as well. You know, have one of those slow rounds, see if you can get a plant down on A or B, and then decide to go for some aggression. Push stairs with Cryo, or, you know, push into the AB connector if you plant on B. There's many different ways in which you could play that and allow him to be aggressive.
Yeah, scale up a little differently. Folks, I'm being informed that there is a game issue. There are players who are reporting some lag on stage. So as soon as we get that figured out, we'll get it rectified, situated, and get back into the action early. If you are just joining us, this is map 1 of this best of 3. Cloud9 have kind of caused fits for 100 Thieves as they hold on to a 2-round lead.
Cloud9 have been causing fits for quite a number of teams, actually.
Yeah, they have.
Overperforming expectations, I think. People were, you know, looking at this squad and, I mean, they're playing with a collegiate player. Their IGL's just come in from Tier 2. Surely they're not going to be able to accomplish too much. And actually, this team is looking tight, drilled. I think MCE's done a great job, as have the core from Cloud9, of being able to integrate these new players and play well around a new system. And I think the tech pause allows me to weave a little story for you, Doug.
I do love a good story.
Let me weave a little story here. So, about a year ago, Cloud9 played against 100 Thieves.
Oh, we're going back.
Oh, and you won't believe who was playing. I mean, it was a blockbuster battle of Zeta for Cloud9 playing against Eccles and Baby J for 100 Thieves. So, I mean,
we're going back.
We're really talking ancient history. But I think, if you think back to what happened last year, Cloud9 made a roster move that a lot of people didn't quite agree with, and the ship slowly sunk. Whereas that 100 Thieves team had a Viking funeral. They just torched the entire thing, and they rebuilt, and they were actually able to benefit from Cloud9's slow slip away from relevancy in 2022 because there was a spot open at the top.
Sure.
And I think that has really carried through its thread into this game. If you think about that rebuild from 100 Thieves, what an opportunity that was for Bang and for Stella to really show themselves at a tier 1 level, to go to big events, and they grasped that opportunity. And I look at the players on the other side here. Rooney especially is in a similar spot, and Jake has been given, I mean, an opportunity you wouldn't even believe as a collegiate player to play at a tier 1 level and see whether he can hang and get that experience and perform on a top level. And they just have to look across the stage to see what could, you know, what the future might be able to look like, what it could if they can take grasp of this opportunity.
And I want to go back to you're just mentioning Jake and Rooney and how exceptional they've been. They've answered the call every week, right? There were almost no expectations for this squad. Let's be honest. There was a lot of doubt. There was a lot of, there's no way these guys can execute on the big stage. They're so young. How are they going to navigate the pressure? The fact that they should be getting out called by these world-class IGLs and everything that comes along with that. And man, they've answered the call, not just in their individual play calling, in their macro, but also their individual play making. Right, like they've been exceptional, especially Rooney.
Especially Rooney, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Being able to IGL at this kind of level, I mean, Rooney just looks like a tier 1 pro.
Yeah.
And he was on the up in a tier 2 scene and had that kind of package, but to be honest, not on too many people's radar.
No, not at all.
I think that's where you really see the brains behind this CLOUD9 squad are coming from the coaching staff. And specifically, I mean, you look at the track record that MCE has of being able to find hidden talents. It's unreal. It's unbelievable. His scouting experience is fantastic. And yet, in the coaching head-to-head that we've got here of MCE versus Mike's has beaten the last 3 times.
3 times.
3 times. 100 Thieves been able to get the better end over the guard back when MCE was with that team.
Yeah, once again, this series really just kind of subverting expectations across the board. You weave together such a succinct narrative around Cloud9 and how they've gotten here, the roster changes and kind of everything that's gone in between. And yes, Cloud9 can look across the stage and see what's potential, right? What's possible, namely in the eyes of Rooney and Jake. And for 100 Thieves, I think there were very high expectations for this squad. You come in, you're only changing 1 player, which on paper should have been a considerable upgrade.
Yeah.
And bringing Cryo in, and they've looked okay.
I mean, actually, Hiko was on that team a year ago, so you can watch the VODs if you like. You'll find Hiko playing. But yes, I think for 100 Thieves, the expectations have definitely been adjusted in these 3 weeks. You heard Dash and Athena talking about it on the desk earlier during the pre-show, and Athena said by this point in the split, week 3, you kind of have a sense for who you are as a team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of how things are going. And I think the fans for 100 Thieves have had to adjust their expectations a little bit, and probably the players have too, because it wasn't all plain sailing. They managed to get a reasonable distance at lock-in, but they weren't the explosive powerhouse team that we expected them to be, that they'd showcased in the offseason at Red Bull 2. So at this point, it's about showcasing that you can become that you can fulfill your potential.
The other thing very quickly about a single round robin is that it doesn't have to be pretty, right? As long as you're walking away with the dub, that's all that matters. We're going to throw this over to our YouTube channel. Actually, on our YouTube channel, you definitely want to check out Unstoppables, a brand new documentary series that chronicles VCT Americas. And you know what? We got a little teaser. Here's a short look at the very first episode. Enjoy.
Opening day is really fun because you get to see like all the fans here in North America. People being close while you're casting is awesome. People reacting to the stuff on screen, to the players that we haven't seen. Tens having a crowd is just really cool. So there's people who are excited to see him after, 2 years essentially.
I'd heard a lot of things about Tens, some really good, some really bad, and I couldn't put my finger on it, and I came here and I can tell why people love him. His mechanical skill, I think it is the best I've ever seen in any game I've ever played. His playstyle, I would say, is kind of chaotic at times. Like right now in practice, we're like pulling him back. Like he'll get 1 kill and then he'll be like, okay, I'm getting another. And you kind of have to rein him in a little bit. And that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to like fine tune him. We're trying to like rein him in just slightly, just so we don't like kill his confidence or his skill, but just enough where it's more about the team.
But it's not done yet. It's now 2v2 here. Blades in play for Tens, and they're good. Can Cryo do this by himself? No, he cannot.
Let's go. Look at this pistol again. If we get this pistol, we fucking win this game, all right? Yeah, let's go.
The defuse comes through as Sentinels get to 4.
It's funny that we're playing with 3 champs on one team. when you have guys on your team that have actually been there in the finals, there's something that you gain there with experience and confidence, and then when you step onto the stage again, you kind of have that in the back of your mind that like, I'm a champ winner, like no one can mess with me today.
They don't have any main control. Cryo's already fallen too.
I think that's the difference that's going to happen on the stage when we play 100 Thieves is that Tyson is sure that he can win, and Cryo's like, he's almost there, but is it fully true?
Trying to find some way into this round, and Cryo's just holding.
I mean, it's a 5v3.
He's just holding.
Kill delivered. Oh my gosh! Dude, this was a Herculean save from Sentinels.
Let's go OT. Whatever happens, happens.
Omen backside. Omen to you. Yeah.
Bang actually ulted into the KCO right now.
I mean, that could be it. That could be the device. It does get destroyed.
Right side.
Can Stellar hold it back?
Nice.
No.
Oh my god. Good job.
Unreal.
I love you. Hug you. I love you too. Thank you for all the time. You're good, man. You're good.
I did shake your hand.
You're good, man. You're good. Guys, you gave us OT.
No Pancada here on this late lurk. You see the flash, you see the dash, but there's no clash. There's no follow-up out from 100 Thieves. Bangs is the first to fall, but he was there by himself. Tens with another. Huge out from Sentinels. It's too easy. 14-12 in the series in favor of Sentinels.
And it's Sentinels who comes out on top in the Battle of NA.
Damn, that's crazy.
Ellie, it's only been one series, but for now, Sen City rules this land.
That was an absolute banger. I mean, 2 really close games right off the start, and then we got to go to map 3, and again, another really close game. I think people are very happy with the performance of Zekin. I think people are very happy with the calling of Def, and then Tens was Tens. That guy was electric. He was really, really good.
If you enjoyed the content, you want to see more, make sure you check out our YouTube at Valorant_Americas. Josh, I heckin' love tens, so any more tens, any more def, and any more ballas, that's a win.
Yeah, and I mean, Nature looked like he was ready for another Viking funeral again there, didn't he?
He was stopped from destroying the desk with one hand.
Yeah, but that was a heartbreaker for 100 Thieves, letting that one slip away from them. And what an individual performance from Zek and from Tens. And I think that in the back of their heads, they might be concerned that this series could go a similar way, because you've still got that same level of firepower for CLOUD9. Players like Leaf and Zeppa in particular can do what Second and Tens did to 100 Thieves. And on top of all of that, you know, the obvious game plan that's come in from CLOUD9 on Lotus, so far working fairly well.
I mean, we talk so much about Zeppa and Leaf, and for good reason, but I think another player that has to be highlighted for his ability to be so flexible in the roles that he's asked to play and his ability to deliver in those specific roles is Elsis. This time on the Killjoy, and much like we've seen the guy can play Phoenix, he can play Killjoy, the man can play everything.
Yeah, he's been playing a large array of different agents, and I think, you know, all of CLOUD9 really deserve the credit for making this system work, right? Because they were put in a challenging situation with only, what was it, a couple of weeks before, a couple of weeks before the Americas League kicked off. So the fact that they're competitive with these kind of teams is incredible. It looks like we're about to head back into the game, though. And so just to recap, we've seen CLOUD9 with a very good defensive side so far. 100 Thieves being able to pick up a round by Asuna spamming through the smoke in round 3. Then round 6, a pretty nice A take. And most recently, Cryocells going very deep on an eco with multiple flashes. This looks like a big clash over towards C again. 100 Thieves really looking to stamp their mark on that area of the map.
Which is funny because this is where CLOUD9 has explored previously. It was just other than that spam that you were just alluding to that Asuna found at 2K. It's really been CLOUD9's land. But this time 100 Thieves, quick to go. Rolling Thunder used once again, not gonna hit anyone, so they're gonna take the space and they're gonna fight for a retake. They have Bruni's Pit and Leaf Salt as well.
This is also quite similar to the way in which they won around on A. A very big push in. Stella reading the flank on Leaf here.
Yeah, but the turret was there, and I don't know if it got recalled or what, but Leaf's gonna be able to scale up so much further without it.
I mean, look at the pings literally at Leaf's feet. They know exactly where he is. And they're reflanking the flank. Bang is in the A lobby.
He committed to the ult. The flash is there, and Stellar wins it out. That was very close.
This means that the entirety of 100 Thieves are going to be playing the spam. What is that shot from Derek?
Zep on the tap, not committing to it. Rooney playing on the other side of smoke. That's a free one. Now left in this 1v3. The tap, the fake, and the reposition. Cryo gone hunting, looking for a little something.
But they know he's not on it.
Oh, that's loud. It's just not enough. Oh. I mean, that was a difficult situation regardless for Rooney, but well handled by Cryo.
And that's now 2 rounds. Half of the rounds that 100 Thieves have been able to get are off the back of breach ulting into a site and then being, well, actually, I think the previous one was without a breach ult, but a big exec into a site and then being able to get into good post-plan positions. And if they can use their utility to stop Cloud9 from harassing them as they transition into those post plants or get into the site in the first place, that seems to be the win condition. Cloud9 have actually not been able to pull off the retakes.
They still have a couple of tools here, but it's pistols for 3/5 of Cloud9.
Surprising too that Leaf has a Phantom here. Looks
With the ult.
paused as well though. But yeah, he has his ultimate online, so definitely opportunities for them to make murder happen across the variety of players that they have in different positions on the map. But so far, 100 Thieves are really finding an answer here that's working. And to me, Doug, the big difference is the pace change. They were playing so slowly at the beginning of the half, and they didn't really understand where on the map they were supposed to be fighting for, how they were going to take that space. And instead, they've just turned the dial up. And, I mean, in the previous round, they just go towards C instantly, breach ult, boom, got the plan. No messing around.
Just that easy, right?
Yeah.
Just have the breach ult every round and you'll be fine.
Well, they're about to have Stellas in another couple.
But I do think it goes down to the pace change, as you were mentioning. It was Asana's ult. 2 out of the 4 rounds that they've won have been off of that. One of them was Cryo finding space and able to get a 2K with the blade. So they're starting to find success in different places. You are not being trolled, by the way, those who are watching at home and here in the studio with us. That thing is still stuck at 1 second, the longest second. But we will get back into the action here as soon as we can. You mentioned the Phantom out for Leaf, who with ult in play chooses to go with that. And yeah, I think that's a surprising decision as well, Josh.
Oh, it's actually quite difficult for Leaf to find value out of the ult with how slowly 100 Thieves have been playing. So if 100 Thieves commit to an area, you might see him, you know, drop the Phantom, decide to invest the ult and go aggressive. But, you know, more so than that, I think what I'm looking for here is 100 Thieves to continue this adaptation that's working really well for them. A lot of people have been asking questions about 100 Thieves ever since Sean left the team about, yeah, well, you've dropped some of the structure. You've given more freedom to players like Stella to call how he would like to call as the IGL. And how has that materialized into wins? You know, where's that come from? And I think here it's been a decent example of, you know, Stella actually finding a good counter in the middle of this map to what Cloud9 were doing.
That's a really good point, because that was the biggest change, right? The biggest difference with the coaching personnel change and how you're putting so much more agency into the hands of Stellar to be able to call the game the way that he wants. There's a quick timeout being called for Cloud9 here. But you're right, he is starting to find some success, and this is what you want Stellar to be able to do. You want to put him into place to get a read on the game, a read on the situation, and then adapt accordingly.
I always love the signs as we go here. So we've got a 30-second timeout for Cloud9, and then we'll be going back into the game. So that's an interesting one. We're more than halfway through this first attacking half for 100 Thieves, but it's been slow paced so far. Yep. I mean, it's disjointed. It's difficult to actually get into the flow of it if you're a player in this kind of situation. You know, you have so much time to think and overthink situations. But certainly, if Cloud9 wanted to win one of the maps dominantly in this series, I think it would be Lotus.
Given what's on the rest of the series, yeah, I would imagine. So, right back into the action,
right
round
there.
10 live, and Cloud9 taking space. Oh, they've left Jake in a cheeky little spot, but it got pinged instantly.
It did, yeah. I think, though, this is one of the situations where previously we've seen 100 Thieves contact in, and I was worried about it. But Derek now actually using the Trailblazer to be able to get that one out. I think that's a great use. There are players ready to back Jake up, though.
Yeah, the Phantom being one of them. We talked about it in the hands of Leaf. Bang. Waiting to strike, smoking off. As you see, Leaf has crept his way up towards tree. Perhaps expecting aggression there, but it never comes.
I think this is a great situation to move a little further forwards as 100 Thieves and go into a B pivot. You know that they're on an eco, they're much more likely to gamble stack. And the Seeker's being used here. Derek just clearing out the entirety of the B site, knows that there's nobody here.
but do they commit to it? I don't know if the panel's broken or not, but it seems like, yeah, they just went through it, so they are going to flood into B. And all of CLOUD9 is already here.
But remember, when 100 Thieves have been able to get into post plants, it has been good for them. Choosing passive post plants, though, at least everybody other than Asno gets team blinded.
And Cryo's still playing back wall. Huge kill out from Zeppa. Do they go? Leaf still with the Phantom. They're sticking with it. It's paying off as Bang falls. Jake on the tap, Stellar on the spam. There's just a bit left. He's gotten it halfway. He's going to stick it the whole way. 75%, 80, 90. He sticks it all the way down.
Not a bullet of damage done in the middle of all of that. And that's the first successful retake for CLOUD9 there.
And it was with lighter weaponry.
Yeah, that one looks rough for 100 Thieves. There are moments like that that have been hurting them so far in this split where, I mean, specifically Asana's position, he's got nobody to play off.
Yeah.
And I think playing aggressive post plants are great if you actually have, you know, Cryo there and there's two of you ready to fight up aggressively towards spawn. But instead, it's just one player isolated.
Cover going out.
3 from CLOUD9 fight over Mound to begin the round, and 100 Thieves take rubble control. This is the area that they cleared out in the mid-round previously. And I think the fact that they put in a heavy emphasis here early on indicates to me they're just going to go for a big A exec. Stella's ult online. Rip the lockdown and go A.
Jake has already gotten all the way through C. He's all the way into spawn. There's an alarm about to cover him.
Run.
But there's the lockdown.
And this lockdown now gives him the perfect timing on the flank.
Yeah.
He knows exactly when he should be trying to aggress.
Here.
Oh, it's just a bit away.
But this is perfect. I mean, he could potentially teleport past this, get a timing past it, smoke it. Oh, unfortunate for Jake. Just based on Stella going in and out of range.
You got to be careful here if you're Jake. If they decide to re-aggress, if 100 Thieves do, you can push him off, but he's just going to be a nuisance. Derek has already fallen. Jake's being so pesky, and he gets 2 clean shots out from him. The third. Oh! Cryo not able to respond in kind.
What a round from Jake, considering his positioning was given away by the alarm bot, to still perfectly coordinate with the rest of his team. One applying pressure from the back while the rest take space up front. Those are plays and those are timings you do not expect from a collegiate player being thrown into Tier 1 Valorant.
I mean, you imagine the comms in situations like that. You've got the lockdown, you got to navigate, you're trying to figure out timings. Oh, the alarm bot spotted me, I wasn't able to smoke it off. But you're right, they handle it so beautifully. That would be a perfect like open mic session, by the way, for the content piece. Very good suggestion for it.
And now final round of the half. 100 Thieves looking to try and recover this. 7-5 would be a great result for them, considering how things have gone.
Agreed. Agreed. We may go a full half without seeing Leaf's ult. He's had it for a while, still dies.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time he's had his gun in his hand, hasn't he? And this is a big push coming out from him. And Jake.
He's got the wall, and there he goes. He's swinging around, Lightning McQueen and Kachowing his way to a kill, but instantly traded back. Austin with an awesome response.
And Zephyr and Rooney don't know exactly what to be doing here. Still clearing things out, still trying to provide information for Zelsis. And the timing here could be good. Derek was just glancing behind him, but hasn't seen anything. And now they're going to be coming within range of where Zelsis can hear.
Rooney doesn't have orb, so they're going to have to either navigate through B, through the panel, or just get hit by the bot. That's exactly what they do.
He gets out! Asuna managed to grab both ult orbs in this round, though, and he has his Rolling Thunder online. So 2 big initiator ults. One good for post-plant aggression, the other good for the retake. They might end up just cancelling each other out, but the Seeker's used to see if anyone's in cheeky forward positioning.
Look at Zelsis' bot. Yeah, it just got cleared out in tree. They're able to take care of it. Now the Seeker's starting to funnel there as well. You can see the Rolling Thunder. It's propped, it's ready to go. It's been a key to their success for 2 of the 4 rounds that they won. Can they secure a 5th?
Was that a bit too early, perhaps?
Possibly. Possibly. Rooney's on the tap. Derek waiting close by, trying to spam through the utility. The orb goes down. The kills go up for CLOUD9 as they get both.
What a play by CLOUD9. Love the way that Rooney is using his Viper Orb there to drop it and choose his timings to fight in tree. What a beautiful half by CLOUD9.
I mean, exceptionally well played. If they decided to scale into it, they were going to be decayed. It was so beautifully played by Rooney. So well played by CLOUD9 as well. An 8-4 lead, taking us into halftime. Let's look at that one more time, Josh.
Yeah, I think this double setup, isolating one kill at a time, It's just excellent. And the fact that Asuna had his ult online but still wasn't able to win the post plan. Credit to Cloud9 how they play around that.
1000%. 4-round lead. Let's throw it down to the Dash. Dash, are you impressed with Cloud9 or worried about 100 Thieves here?
Well, I'm impressed, but I don't know if my opinion matters at all. 8-4, though, as they mentioned, is the scoreline here. And that last round got a little sketchy for them. But let's talk about the defensive setups here for Vans that let them build this bit of a round lead.
Yeah, at the same time, I want to talk about how disciplined this Cloud9 team is, right? We see a different composition coming out of this roster, and at the same time, how they could actually counteract against a lockdown that comes through. I mean, pay a lot of attention to that minimap as how far back they are, but besides that, you still have Leaf that plays very close enough that tries to time into relay builds to delay, as well as you have Sky Flashes and a Trailblazer to counteract on a Moblie. So that cancels out any type of pressure you're trying to bring into the attack for 100 Thieves, whereas even for C9, outside of that ult, they've just been really good on how they're setting up their positions defensively to continue that delay.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of delay is insane. And going forward, I think both these teams are really going to have to consider how to kind of counter these cons. I mean, the delay actually stopped a lot of the post plans that 100 Thieves were trying to do, but 100 Thieves kind of tried to get it down, but obviously last round kind of sending that ult too early, sending their util too early, just kind of lost them that lead. And so going forward, I think 100 Thieves is really going to have to be playing that retake kind of setups. They're going to have to be careful about the Viper ults, the Viper wall, the Viper gas, kind of waiting to see when everything is down and when everything is ready to go, because the amount of util they have as a team is just insane. But again, unless they time it right, and we saw that they kind of didn't that half. They started to kind of falter towards the end. Unless they time it right, they will not be able to play this retake setup that I think they're going to try to aim towards from the defense side.
Timing is everything, right? Timing is everything, but both of these teams looking to get it done here on map number 1. It is a 4-round lead here for Cloud9. We'll see if 100 Thieves can make up that difference on the back half of the game as we head back out to our casters, Doug and Sideshow.
Thank you so much, Dash. Yeah, a 4-round lead for Cloud9, but I think, Josh, I want to turn eyes towards Cryo because he is the star for this 100 Thieves roster. He should, in theory, be a bit more comfortable on the side, no?
Yeah, I think he's a defense-sided player. You can see him with a sheriff in his hands, looking to take a fight directly against Leaf over here at C to begin.
Leaf's already gone up. The fault line perhaps a little late in every single shot. This is... Whoa, Leaf gets 2! Second! Bang trying to do a bit of the same. He gets 2 of his own. But through all of that, Jake is the last one standing.
And the way is open on C here for Cloud9. Stella and Derek with only classics to their name and a single flash. I just don't see how this is going to work for them.
Yeah, borderline impossible, you'd imagine.
Stella might try and take a timing here.
He saw him, he spotted him, he dropped him. Are you expecting Derek to be coming the same way? Maybe not, but when you're facing 3 guns, and that's gonna hurt. That doesn't feel good.
No more.
He's gotten it down to it.
It's a very good try by Derek, but just too many people opposing him. The 1v3, not quite manageable. What a start there for the half, as we saw Leaf and Cryo clashing on Mount, and Leaf dominating that matchup with a Ghost. The first shot, a body shot onto Leaf, causing him to duck away, and still able to get 2 repeats and take out, you know, the big 2 aggressive players there, Cryo and Asuna.
Well, and I think there we see the benefit of running a Neon is Leaf got ahead of the fault line from Asuna, so he was able to take that fight clean.
Sure. And it looks like 100 Thieves are putting a heavy C crunch down. I mean, a paranoia setup here for Bang. They had a fault line ready. Cryo, Stella could have fought that. And Cloud9 avoid the entire thing just by choosing to take a right out of spawn instead of a left.
Nothing quite like guessing correctly. Look at how far up they've scaled to.
It's great to be good, but it's better to be lucky.
That's what they say. Trailblazer through the smoke. Derek spotted. You wonder here with how much space they've taken, they really have no idea that there's only one player here.
Oh, Leaf's push here. Great in some kind of rifle round or maybe a bonus round. Slightly worried he might give a Bulldog away, but he's also hearing everybody from 100 Thieves pathing up into heaven. Only Cryo going to check. And that means no jet.
No jet. Rooney hit that shot onto Derek. Bang and Asuna both so weak. If you're Cloud9, excuse me, you want to get through this cleanly, and they do. Rooney with 3 on the round. Does Cloud9 get to 10?
I'm picking up both pistols here. Cloud9 I mean, that really should cement the map for them. A 6-round advantage going into their bonus. They've been looking great. 100 Thieves have got such an unbelievable comeback if they want to make this one doable.
Especially on the defensive side. Josh, you mentioned it at the beginning of the map. This tends to lean towards the attacking side, so Cloud9 really should have all momentum.
Yeah, especially in Americas. The attacking teams have been finding so much more value. You can see an early fault line here designed to push Rooney away. The rest of Cloud9 looking like they want to take some B control with a turret to stop anybody from fast flanking through C. 100 Thieves in general are going to play very retake heavy. And on this map, maybe they need to challenge. Instead of just giving up sights, you can see Cryo, Derek here with a bit of a crossfire setup, playing off the alarm bot contact.
Oh, that's free from Derek, spamming through and getting 2.
Ridiculous.
Seems like 100 Thieves are equalizing at least in this round. Still 2 guns left in the hands of Cloud9 though. And Bang under pressure. Cryo's close by, but he can't really help here. Bang was left on an island.
This would be a disastrous round for 100 Thieves to lose. After Derek gave them such an enormous opening, the spike now retrieved. And Cloud9 look like they want to work the map. I mean, these 100 Thieves players have no idea where anyone is. The only information they have is over towards C.
And B is entirely vacant.
Yeah, even for Cryo and Derek on that angle, it's possible they could have crossed.
I don't think that flash
30
hit.
seconds left.
They have no idea that they're just ahead of it.
What an incredible timing that they found. But for Leaf and Zelsis in a 2v3, they might have to make a play before the spike gets planted. All right, Zelsis goes for it. And Leaf's looking for the pick to equalize things and make it a 2v2, make it more winnable. I like the play, but again, looking in the wrong direction.
I respect it. They leave Zelsis alone with his 38 HP left in a 1v2. The high-low a bit too much as they continue to scale forward. Zelsis happy to play time and try to isolate the gunfights. It's just too much.
That's a big round.
That's all for Derek.
And Derek also with the 2 kills through the smoke. Looking very reminiscent of Asana's spray kills through the smoke as well. And I don't want to put it like this necessarily, but 40% of 100 Thieves rounds have just been spams through smokes. So, you know, maybe...
If it works.
Yeah, just spam a bit better, you know what?
Just spray harder, man.
Yeah, I'm not sure that those ones are as replicable, but at the same time, always worth doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's got Derek's ult online, like you said. It might give them a foothold back into this. Cryo looks like he wants to take an aggressive angle. There's a fault line prepped here.
Waiting for contact that never comes. They should hear. I think they've made some noise. I wonder if Cryo hears where some of the pressure's coming from. And if not, that flash should give things away, or at least give an idea of where some of the initial pressure is.
This is one of the reasons that the double smoke comp is so good. At any point here, they can get back into A because Rooney's put his Viper Orb down and it just blocks all vision from Derek.
Oh, and not to mention, he still has this wall. You so often see that early investment.
Sure. Look at how much map control Cloud9 have. They can see the entrance to B, they control the whole of Mound, and at any point here, can re-clear. I mean, Zeppa waiting until the minute mark to use his Trailblazer with the Viper Orb. I mean, this really is different to the way that 100 Thieves were playing their attack side. The question is, can they convert when it matters most, when you get to the site?
I do like 100 Thieves setup here, though. They have Asuna in a really nice position, and they have the Seekers used a little bit later here. Asuna's utility should come into play.
This is wild. What a play. So far forward from Leaf.
That's a 1-for-1.
There's 30 seconds left right now. Stella falls though, and that's all the Killjoy utility down. Bang has got to hold on.
The spike is just now leaving spawn, and they've thrown a pause on it. Zelsis is going to have ult. They're going to invest the lockdown.
And they don't have time. They've got to go.
You should run.
There it is. Lockdown invested. 10 seconds left now on that ult. 14 seconds left in the round. Bang. Trying to anchor, and he does as he gets 3.
Down, C.
How the heck does Rooney win this? I don't know that he can.
He's got 4 seconds. I'm not sure he even got that. That might be a couple milliseconds off.
How? Oh, he didn't.
He didn't.
That was so close.
Incredibly close. Even then, he would have been put into a 1v3, but possibly could have been good for it. That was a scramble from Cloud9. I loved the way that they were playing the early round and the mid round, but then they couldn't make a decision about where to end up.
You think even just like the half-second hesitation on the lockdown, they scaled up and then they turned back. Oh, let's get orb, let's get ult.
Don't really understand the lockdown usage either, because it's 13 seconds for it to pop in the first place, and I don't think they had 13 seconds to spare, frankly.
That's always so sad. Whenever I see the little bear, I wonder what happened.
Yeah. It is a war zone, I suppose.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you don't see too many civilians wandering around Lotus, do you?
The bustling metropolis that it is. Couple of pistols, a mixed buy for Cloud9. And Leaf's already fallen, bro. Bang is warming up.
He definitely is. You're starting to see why he's the highest rated player on 100 Thieves so far in Americas. And meanwhile, Cryo is providing a lot of passive value here by just picking that operator and locking down C.
And this is Cryo, right? Like, this is where he's comfortable. You often get different varieties of jets. There's aggressive playmaking, or there's just lockdown jets, and this is the flavor that Cryo tends to play.
Speaking of lockdowns, that kind of stops the B pivot, and I think that's what Cloud9 were looking for.
Tap on the door, they funnel through. They are going to commit here with 45 seconds left. No doubt about it. Dude, Bang is just locking things down. Remember, Bang in this, what's now a 3v1 here, Zeppo is nothing but a frenzy. Drops. Remember, those types of plays are what really felt like the Bang party, right? Like the arrival of Bang. I have so many memories of him locking down sights on Ascent by himself. 2Ks, 3Ks during their LCQ run. That's vintage Bang. We just saw it in the last few rounds.
But 100 Thieves have a big one coming up here. Cloud9 with rifles back in hand and a lot of ults to work with. The only one that's really that relevant, though, is Rooney's. If they can get into a good position, Viper's Pit, it's going to make 100 Thieves kind of retake setups very difficult.
You say that, but we saw in the previous half Jake with a very aggressive ult as well. Given the nature of the map, I wonder if there's a little bit more room for playmaking here with that ult, but we'll see.
Possibly. You see Jake immediately taking the teleport over to the back of Rubble. Cryo getting set up over towards C, too. So Cryo is going to be out of these rounds completely, you know, having no sizable impact in the fragging unless Cloud9 decide to go back over there.
And the money, too. I mean, that op it's expensive.
Oh, Bang getting spammed through the tree, and there's their star player gone. There's the pit on site.
Anchor down. Here we go. Asuna dumping util, and yeah, forcing Rooney to reposition. Still plenty of time here, though, for them to navigate this.
What? How did he get that?
He might get a second. He is going to get a second.
Unreal.
The op that you mentioned that was on the opposite side of the map now just has to sit quietly on the sidelines. Perhaps try to save the weapon, and yeah, there's plenty of bankroll on the side of 100 Thieves, but...
And what a great read, honestly, from Cloud9. Something that I think will go under the radar a bit here. All of the rounds, I mean, a lot of the rounds prior to when 100 Thieves had an op on board, they were trending towards C, taking that control, knowing that there was only rifles for the defenders. And now that there's potential for an operator, now that that's in Cryo's hands, they go towards A, the last couple of rounds, knowing that even if Cryo is trying to op there, he's going to be cut off by Viper walls. There's no way that Cryo's going to be able to get a good angle over on A. So they're just playing avoid Cryo.
You wonder here, too. This is where some of the mind games come into play, right? You just spotted where Cryo was. Right, you assume that he was in C because you haven't seen him last 2 rounds. Then you confirm him at the end of that round. Yeah, he was playing on that side. Do you push into C? Does Cryo swap over to A, given where some of the hits have gone?
But like I'm saying, where does Cryo play on A? Where he gets around the Viper wall that Rooney is throwing.
Or the smoke,
is he trying to walk through the Viper wall, get a shot off and dash away? That's a bit crazy aggressive for a player like Cryo. He normally takes the safer angles and really relies on his team to set him up with a lot of that util. If they're going to try and post Cryo on A, it would have to be because they're util dumping massively at the beginning of the round. And I think that's part of what they'll be discussing in this timeout here. Getting Mike's input and trying to have that discussion, Doug. What should we be doing to get more value out of Cryo's op? Sure, we know they're not C on these rounds. That doesn't help us defend A.
No, not at all.
At least it hasn't been so far.
15 seconds left in this conversation for 100 Thieves. They find themselves down 4. We talked about it at the beginning of the half. What can they do with Cryo? Should be more comfortable here. And as you were mentioning, Josh, they've just navigated away from him. They haven't bothered challenging him. We'll see what they do this time around. We'll also take a look at what ults are available and weaponry. Seems like it's a bit of a interesting buy here. Zeppa, maybe if Rooney buys for him, we'll be able to bring a rifle in.
Yeah, I mean, Rooney definitely should be buying for him. Don't worry, they won't forget.
This is fine.
Don't worry. They definitely didn't forget. Oh, there we go. So Cryo is going to try and op a really passive angle towards A, and I just don't quite understand how this is going to work. Look at all of the Viper utility up in his face. Yeah, he doesn't know where people are going to peek from. And at any point here, he might just have a sky flash in his face. There's another smoke. You know, how is he getting the value here? He is going to have to hit something really solid on a very small angle as Cloud9 get into the site. This is where Cryo's tested.
Not even just small. I mean, presumably aggressive as well. I don't know that he can just continue to play this far back, but...
This is a nice position for him to be playing, though. He can dodge flashes from here. He has his updraft to be able to get out.
I've got your
Waiting for the swing position given away. Now Cloud9, do you choose to challenge or rotate off?
Cloud9 avoid it. They're playing avoid Cryo. Get out of the way of the AWP.
It's working. It's worked so far. A plan on B from Xeppaa.
And all of that effort to get Cryo in a better position. And now he's got to retake again with the operator online.
We saw how ineffective that was previously. Can they find more success here? The paranoia is traded, and the one from the attacking side seemed to hit a whole lot more. But they start to flood out. They start to take some of the space back. This chaos. There's so much utility here from... Yeah, there it is. Asanu's flash.
But also, look at Rooney. He's reflanked. He pushed the breakable door, and now he's coming around behind them. Could he be the difference maker?
The timing's everything. Yeah, he gets two. Another round for Cloud9 as they get to map point.
What a play. And once more, it's one of their players that's new to the roster. Rooney with the big brain IGL lurk, and also directing his team perfectly away from 100 Thieves' efforts to spear them on the tip of the operator. It's just been excellent stuff from Cloud9. And Rooney's timing on this, it couldn't be better. He avoided that massive clash over at the breakable door, pivots around, goes through the defender's spawn to be able to get that flank off. It's just gorgeous.
Cloud9 looking to deliver the final hit onto 100 Thieves on Lotus. The Rolling Thunder gonna divide the remaining members of Cloud9, but Austin's falling here as well. Oh god!
Whoa, what's going on there? Omen battle in the middle of A. Maybe that could be decisive. If Ban can hold on and deliver a bit more.
But the spike's not even there.
No, I think they're just gonna pivot away.
But look at where they've left Leaf. Any kill he gets here is icing on the cake.
Info.
Go, go, go.
That's great from Leaf. It still makes it feel like there's presence over towards A. Draws out the Trailblazer as well. I mean, Cloud9 are making this feel like there's a lot of presence over on the A side of the map. And instead, they're crunching towards B.
Blinded.
They also just hit the door between B and C. So many mind games being played here. Where is the hit gonna end up? Lockdown invested B.
That's off the back of an orb.
I got this
Derek,
spot.
if he can find an entry, spamming through a smoke, would have his Seekers online, but he's forced away from the angle as the lockdown comes through.
Ult used by Leaf. Spike planted by Xeppaa. Note how weak Bang is, and he's going to be one of the ones on the flank. Derek looking for the first angle, not able to deliver. Bang, 45 HP. 0 HP now. As Stellar's left in a 1v4 to save the map, and he cannot. Cloud9, once again, find themselves up 1-0 in the series.
What an expert display of Cloud9. Picking a great map, adjusting their Lotus composition, and outplaying 100 Thieves. Rooney as well, outcalling Stellar. What a great start to the series, but we've seen Cloud9 in these positions before. They went up 1-0 against Loud, and they ended up crumbling map 2 and map 3.
You can't help but wonder if that's going to be a bit of the same, but I want to go back to what you were mentioning around Rooney in a lot of ways out-calling Stellar, even late into the game, right? You expect an IGL with the experience of Stellar to, as the game goes on, get more comfortable, right? Get a better read on what's going on and start to adapt accordingly, but Rooney just out-called him.
I think he did in the first half, Stellar.
Yeah,
I think he did a decent job adapting, but then when the half swapped, he had to start all over again. And the prep work just looks a lot better from Cloud9. Also, shouldn't be avoided, Jake having his best performance I think we've seen from him in a map in Americas, at least the best one that I've seen. How is Jake, the collegiate player, out, getting more impact than Bang? I mean, that was not on anyone's bingo card, I don't think.
No. Absolutely not. And the crazy thing is, you're right, it was Rudy who's been delivering that way, but Jake getting in on the action, 16 and 12, and also a pedestrian 17 assists. 17!
Yeah.
More assists than he had kills. Either way, Cloud9 take down 100 Thieves in the opening map of this best of 3. It's set on the other side of this break. We'll be right back.
What is this from Hain? He is currently unstoppable.
True.
He is just a consistent demon. El Diablo.
Hey guys, it's Hain. Welcome to my course on optimal Valorant training. I'm going to be demonstrating now some angle clearing. I'll slowly come around the corner as well, making sure no one's on these off angles.
Red Bull gives you wings. Red Bull gives you wings.
Welcome back to VCT Americas, where Cloud9 takes the first map in 13-7 fashion. I'm going to go directly to Athena on this one. Top of the day, I asked you, what's the timeline for when we need to see teams really find their form, find their footing within the league? You said it was week 3, and if we isolate this first map of the series, it looks like Cloud9 might be, filling out here.
Yeah, I mean, C9 really showed that. I think we were wrong about star players because all of them were star players. Literally every single person on this team did their job, got kills, got multi-frags. They ended up being like really, really good. They used their util in like really good scenarios. Everything just felt like it clicked for C9 on there. And then we did talk about Jake, and Jake actually, we were talking a little bit, while the game was going on about an Omen diff, right? Jake was kind of showing that he was doing good. He was over there. But then Bang started warming up towards the end.
Exactly. There were definitely opportunities here for Bang. We talked about consistency for both of these players in terms of their role of controllers, but also both of these players playing roles differently, right? Jake really being like an entry fragger for the team for Cloud9 when we saw on the attack, but Bang on the defense, at least when it comes down to those moments where, for example, you have to anchor into the site of C, gets that 2K and saves a round, not allowing Rooney to get that plant in. And Bang's done a good job. They put a lot of responsibility for 100 Thieves onto Bang as an anchor player. But overall, when we talk about how, C9's been an all-star roster in this first matchup, you can't just rely on Bang.
I think that's exactly what we're illustrating there with that, right? Is that Bang can start to pop off, but if there's really no support behind him, if there's not a second fragger or somebody who can follow up on the plays in the space that he's creating, then 100 Thieves isn't going to find victories in this matchup against Cloud9, particularly when on the opposite side, Cloud9 is doing everything we asked of them and more, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we even saw Rooney towards the end there kind of getting multiple multi-frags. And I think just in general, like that team just showed that they can work together in a seamless way that I'm not really sure if they can bring that onto the next map because it is a set. We've seen both these teams kind of not be 100% confident on this map, but it's going to be really interesting. Both these teams aren't 100% solid.
Right.
So we'll kind of, when you're talking about the week 3 kind of setup and are the foundations good? I think Ascent is kind of where we're going to see.
I think that's a perfect transition, too, right? Because the expectation was, with Cloud9 picking Lotus, eventually, that they would come away with the victory on that one. They did that, and then again, maybe impressed us a bit with the, the disparity in round wins overall. But we move on to the other side of things, and this is 100 Thieves' time to shine, I think, here for Ascent. So what's the expectation? How can they clap back and instill some confidence in you that ultimately they can take the series?
I'm actually just having flashbacks and PTSD of how even C9 were playing last week against Lao, where it wasn't really working for them on a defender half. One thing that was a big plus, by the way, for C9 on the first map of Lotus was how good they are in playing aggressively into the C pushes, into the B pushes. So very confident to fight, which is why I want to get to that map of Ascent. Against Loud last week, there was a lot of these pushes towards B main where, okay, pistol around and kind of worked. They opened it up, and then you get into these later rounds where it's like, oh, well, we can't really get a good control or feeling of the map on defense. Let's just go back to the same thing. Let's try to keep pushing towards B, but there's nobody there. So the adaptation when it comes down to now maps where teams are comfortable in, and you need a lot from Rooney, for example, in terms of IGLing into the mid round. That's where it was lacking a little bit in terms of the defensive half of C9. So I'm hoping that comes in and 100 Thieves can learn from those mistakes of C9 to really capitalize on that second map.
Yeah, I mean, earlier you were also talking about 100 Thieves is kind of going back to their old play style where they're kind of doing more retake-y scenarios. And I think coming into Ascent, that's something that could be really, really, really strong. Retaking and constantly playing off the site and using your util to kind of dump into the site is super, super important on Ascent, especially against a team that may not be as comfortable. And I think right now what we saw is, we saw the players warming up towards the second half. I think that plus a new playstyle coming in could kind of solidify 100 Thieves that map. And the only reason why I want them to win is because I did pick them as my prediction.
I think we all did, though.
I was going to say, we're all ride or die on that one together.
We're not biased at all.
Look, we either look real good or we all go up in flames at the same time. Now, Cloud9 got the dub in map number 1. Coming into today's match, though, Cloud9's Jake thinks he's got a solid game plan and the key to taking down 100 Thieves. Take a look.
I think against 100 Thieves, adapting against them, because they have one set game plan like Evil Geniuses did with the Gecko. All we have to do is adapt to what they're doing, and we will simply win.
Adaptation is the name of the game there, and I'm sure you can speak to that. It's one thing to have a game plan coming in, but once you start to see the rounds go through, you have to be able to adjust to what your opponents are ultimately showing you, whether or not that aligns with your expectation coming into the day or goes completely against the grain.
Yeah, I mean, I love that confidence because when you're IGLing, you literally are thinking about what your team is doing, what the other team is doing, and how you can go forward and kind of adapt to that play style. And I think kind of talking about Gecko too, I think is really interesting because they've kind of done their homework, they've studied, they've seen that we can adapt to the play style, we can adapt to just the comp specifically as well. And I think that that is just super, super important, especially when both these teams are kind of seemingly skill level, like head to head at this point. I think for IGLs too, like it's really important on Ascent to be able to understand what to do in the mid round.
Yeah.
Ascent is such a like tight, closed off map. You can't just get space easily. It's not that easy on either side.
Which is why I was saying like it was very difficult to look at Rooney last week of trying to adapt it to the mid round or while that map was moving forward into the later rounds or into the later game. But you have Stellar on the other end that's able to do that kind of thing, right? And IGL that could also actually frag. And I think this is going to be a very nice chess match of trying to figure out how at least C9 are going to play, which is why we're probably going to see this third map.
You may have noticed my eyes lit up when you mentioned Stellar's name because it makes my transition so easy to this. Before we head into map 2, let's get a quick warm-up in the Aim Lab shoot-around. Right now, we're going to be watching Stellar as he gets prepared for that second map and trying to take us to Haven.
Yeah, definitely. As I was just mentioning before, so we have a chance to talk about this man right here. Great IGL, and also a person that's just able to frag out as an IGL. So it's not really on the lurk.
Well, he's IGLing. He doesn't need percentage there. Who cares?
Keep it low. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Look, I don't need to hit the shots. I just need to tell you to hit the shots.
Yeah.
Body shot berries, get the lurks, get the clutches, you know. So definitely he's the man that can definitely do it for this map right here or for this team right here of 100 Thieves.
Yeah. When you're thinking though about Cloud9 as a team right now, what you saw out of map 1, like who do you even look to target or isolate when the difference in frags, for example, from the bottom of the boards to the top of the boards was 11 to 17. There's only a 6-kill discrepancy across all 5 players on Cloud9. Normally, I'd be like, yeah, just like let's find a way to isolate the top fragger or the duelist who's finding, you know, those first bloods. But it seems like everyone on Cloud9 is capable of doing that today.
Yeah, even looking at the first map, as we were looking at how Lotus plays or just how C9 plays is how good they are of just being unorthodox, right? It's not about having a duelist, okay, they have to create the space. It's not about, oh, we have a controller, we have to like set the smokes. It's more about they're willing to move in as a team and trade immediately. And having a composition when it pulled out a Neon before, it's like there's no real space making that you have, so you have players that need to follow up behind. Now for Ascent, Leaf is probably going to come out onto this jet, where maybe now finally 100 Thieves has a chance to really shut down one player at least to start and continue with that player advantage.
Yeah, I mean, it's really going to come down to seeing these comps and seeing if they do stick to their kind of bread and butter or if they do try to actually adapt with the comps. I think that would be super interesting. But yeah, Alex, just as you said, we do see Leaf coming out on the jet and we do see Bang on this Omen, which I think is going to be really fun to watch. I know we're talking about Bang a lot today, but we did just see him kind of warm up that Omen tech, Omen mechanics. We do have the KO coming out, which I think is super, super important. Kind of contesting all your teammates, your opponent's util is so important on this map, on Ascent, because you can deny takes, you can deny executes, you can deny retakes, you can deny post plants, you can deny so much stuff with KO that I think kind of seeing how that would play around their comp would be super, super interesting.
Yeah. KO plus Sova, so much information gathering available to the squad there. It'll be a Viper pickup for Stellar here in the third agent pick. Cryo's the guy who I've got my eyes on. And while we've been talking a lot about Bang, and Bang stepped up in a big way, especially on the back half there, finally warming into it, it's Cryo who I'm still kind of left wanting for more ultimately.
I agree, and that's where when Cryo was playing that jet on that previous map of Lotus, and he brings out the operator, and we know it was round number 18, and you're playing against a double controller that usually just like splits up the map and everything too. It blocks the visions, it blocks sights, no opportunities for him to pick this off. Now you have only one controller to deal with. You have an opportunity to get those forward positions.
Yeah, but how frustrating, right? He finally gets the op into his hands, and Cloud9 just goes, cool, we're gonna play whatever opposite side of the map from where you are. Like, that's gotta be so absolutely frustrating as a player to be on the stage, right? Yeah, it's great IGLing, it's great calling, but on the other side, I'm sure as an individual, it's a tough thing to deal with, knowing that you need to get things done for your team and just not having the opportunities to do so. Either way, we reset for map number 2 here on Ascent. It's 100 Thieves looking to extend the series. Let's find out if they can get it done and take us to a third map as we head back to Doug in Sideshow for the cast.
Thank you so much, Stash. Yeah, a 1-0 lead for Cloud9. And Josh, you know, we've talked about this a couple of times. And as we think about the long-term implications, the larger scale of standings and playoffs involved here, it feels like there's a lot at stake here for 100 Thieves.
There definitely is. I mean, they let that game slip against Sentinels on Ascent, 12-14. And that means that if they were to go 1-2 here, they have yet to play against the 4 best teams in Americas.
They still haven't played.
They still haven't played against the top 4 teams here, 100 Thieves. So if they lose here today, they're probably going 3-6 and maybe missing out on playoffs. That's how important this game is. 100 Thieves cannot allow this one to slip through their fingers. And they're already off to a bad start. They've got to battle back. I'm looking at the buy here. There's a Sheriff on both sides on the pistol. Rooney has one, and so does Asuna.
That's what you'd expect, right?
Yeah, very normal. Very normal.
Not Cryo, not Leaf, no. Rooney and Asuna. We'll see who wins that out. As first tags go through, Cryo's taking a little bit of damage. Oh, that flash is good, but the counter flash is better. It provides just enough time for Leaf to get out, and now they push forward. Rooney gets the first with the Sheriff, though.
Yeah, Rooney was playing in that back side area where he could actually wall bang. Asuna's come around the side as well. It settles for a moment into a 3v3 until Derek landed that shot. Cloud9 have cleared out B main, so they know that these players are on site. Can they break it?
Here.
They're so weak. Silence across the side as Bang's head spotted. Zeppa waiting, no flash, nothing to go around. All you have is also his turret. Oh, and the ping pong is so good, but they've left Celsius alone. The clear is there. He's got a shot at it. The pre-fire. Derek patient on the swing. Takes a step back, and Celsius gets the clutch.
What a horrible start for 100 Thieves. Both pistols won for Cloud9 on map 1. And now pulling that one out. A 2v3. Where Celsius is able to pick up the last 2 just purely because of damage done. I don't think he's winning that if both of those players are healthy.
The last one was labored. I think you're absolutely right.
But the fact that he's able to take it with such confidence because he knows he only needs to land a certain hit, a single hit. And this now puts 100 Thieves in a rough position. They went 8-4 up on their attack half against Sentinels in the game that they inevitably lost. And they're going to force here. They got the plant down, they got 4 kills, a lot of money. Gonna be invested.
Early too.
That might make it look just like a default.
So much utility being invested into the small area of the map. And Jake has more. Paranoia feeling some of the pressure. Stays though, hasn't repositioned. Oh, it's because of the flash! So
a lot of counter spam.
A look at Zeppa swinging out Jake as well. They've gone hunting, they know what they want. Zeppa with 3 on the round. Ooh, that's a clean transfer from Derek though.
But with 25 health left, what can he do?
And a 1v2 as well. He still has some time, he has a spike, sure, but Rooney's waiting. Just on the other side. That was close. Getting whatever he can here. Derek 1 point away from the Hunter's Fury.
Gun here. Guaranteed to get it for next round, but I don't see how he's going to win this one. Oh, the shot dart almost. And he's been wary of this flank the entire time. But now as Celsius creeps around, Rooney lands another shock.
You got to give him respect for staying alive as long as he did with 25 HP. But yeah, the shock dart ultimately cleaning things up and getting Cloud9 too.
And what a disastrous opening to this. 100 Thieves did not look good on their defense side the last time that they played Ascent. They only won 4 rounds on a map that is the most defense-sided in the pool currently in Americas. They got all of their results by going 8-4 up on the attack half. And unless they pull out some magic with the Sheriffs here, it's looking like they're 3-0 down to begin.
4 Sheriffs, no armor on Cryo. Believe Stellar was the only one hit by that knife. Derek was just a bit further back. And he may be swinging right into Leaf's crosshair. Oh my gosh.
Leaf with another first kill. He was 5-1 on Lotus in terms of first kills to first deaths. You want another head-to-head matchup against Cryo? 4-0. 4-0 in terms of first kills in the round. Yep.
He just had his number.
He absolutely did. And Cryo's got to reverse that. Maybe not in this round, though. He's working with vastly different weaponry.
First couple of shots to the Sheriff not landing.
They are definitely going to be looking for this player to go. There is no way!
What?
What? Zelsis?
Are you awake?
Any ear possessors? How did that happen? I mean, maybe Zelsis is anticipating other people to be flooding through B main there, so he takes a step forwards. But this could well be falling apart at the seams for Cloud9.
30 seconds
For
left.
this to be the win, the round win that they get.
Oh my
would
word.
Be unconventional at best.
The lurk play, nobody on B. A Phantom in the hands of Bang too.
They've upgraded some weapons. Cryo's still healthy. Hasn't taken a single spot of damage yet. He's going to be the first to peek out back sight. Stellar landing the shot. How the heck have they done this?
This is ridiculous.
You called it at the beginning of the round. It may take some magic, some miracle for them to win the round, and well, Josh, they did.
I don't think I've ever seen a round quite like that. Cryo dashes his lane and manages to land body shots to take down Zelsis. And then that just sprung chaos into the round.
I
and
hope
the lurk plays were all successful.
I hope he sees Zelsis' POV there. I mean, because I'd love to know if it was, yeah, I saw it, I'm expecting the flood, I want to take that fight, or...
I really don't know. I feel like the only thing that makes sense is that he's expecting more players coming out of that smoke, and he thinks Cryo's just pathing straight to site.
Yeah,
but in that situation, how do you possibly expect Cryo to be on his own, going for the solo dash down lane?
Without a cloudburst either. I mean, nothing. He just went.
4-player push here for Cloud9. Going for a set piece.
Speaking of going, the flash is there. Cryo dancing around the cloudburst, but he's spammed.
I mean, the Thrifties are finding so much value here in such different ways. 100 Thieves in the previous round decided to go for the Scooby-Doo strategy, spread out, look for clues. And it worked. But C9 put a set play together and decided to crunch on tiles. And despite having really low weaponry, that one was very well crafted. And it comes from such a different place. When you're in tiles, you're expecting the aggression to come mid. Everybody does that. They just copy the Vision Strikers play.
Enemy tag.
Does Stella and Derek have what it takes to be able to recover this round?
That's a big ask. They haven't even made their way out of main.
But Zelsis is quite isolated. Derek thought that he'd been able to get it, and Zephyr rips them both to pieces. Thrifties on Thrifties here.
We've played 4 rounds. Half of them have gone that way. That's just outrageous.
But it's also devastating that to the 100 Thieves economy. They just can't get anything going. And when things are so back and forth in this direction, Cloud9 are the benefactors. It now puts 100 Thieves in a very tough position, actually. They could try and force. You can see their economy in the bottom right. It's scrappy. I mean, Light Armor Bulldog isn't too bad, but Light Armor Spectre, too, coming out from Stella.
Yeah, but we've had 2 Thrifty round wins, Josh.
Exactly.
This is the better buy.
Oh, why buy at all? Come in with classics. And this is the Viper utility you expect. That Viper Orb in mid makes it very difficult for anybody to challenge. You don't know when the orb is going to be dropped. And the wall that threatens misinformation over towards B.
Meanwhile, well handled by Cloud9. Just waiting the drone out, not showing anything.
And Cloud9 going for a pretty unconventional way of holding this map. Very heavy A main control, with also Zephyr in a position where he's kind of jiggle peeking over towards Catwalk and just ready to drop back to probably Jenny or Dice. These 3 players are going to be difficult to deal with. And Rooney, how does he get that? A spam kill through close mid?
There wasn't a dart? I don't know. I don't know how he did it. Either way, Rooney continues to light it up.
And with 100 Thieves having no A main control, they've got to just pivot. 30 seconds left, and this is all going into the lap of Zelsis.
With Rooney close by, you see him still playing back in spawn, spamming through. He got another, this time onto Cryo.
He's got a 6th sense. There's 20 seconds left. Derek's managed to collect 1, but they've lost their timing to pressure.
15 seconds left. They may have swung out to try to take the fight. I don't... They wanted to win it out via frags. And now Derek's on the opposite side of the site from the spike.
There's no I mean, there's no way Derek's getting that back. They completely lost their timing to try and pressure Zelsis there. Ruined by Rooney, who got that spam kill over towards Market, and the round just ends in a whimper. This is a disaster for 100 Thieves, and Cloud9 looking great. On a map where we very recently saw them struggle versus Loud. It looked like a very large tier difference after Cloud9 had come out, set plans on split, looked really solid. And then they go into maps like Ascent, and the coordination was not there. Leaf was still popping, you know, the pieces were still working, but Cloud9 didn't look ready.
Yeah.
This game has been chaos, frankly, but it has also demonstrated that they've got on the same page, I think, with what they want to be doing.
Reminds me of what Athena was saying on the desk, right? 3 weeks in, you're expecting them to feel a bit more comfortable, to have the roles more evenly figured out.
Asuna with the null command here could just be a very simple pop into A. Drone to start, they've got to clear the recon dart, it isn't, and another spam kill takes down Cryo. There's no Omen entry from Bang, and so all of these players just stuck in. Bang tries to get in, taken out by spam through smoke again.
This is supposed to be a really hard side hit, and it very well may end up as a flawless round for Cloud9.
100 Thieves did not see another human. They just all died through smokes.
Last player standing.
Derek playing spoiler a little bit. On to Leaf, he gets a second out to Jake too. Oh dear! Right. All good. Everything's fine.
No need to panic. Disaster averted. Of course the trades are going to come through for Cloud9. Timeout for 100 Thieves. As Mike's just tells Derek, could you do that one but a little better next time?
Yeah, why couldn't you get all 5?
Yeah, get the 1v5 going next time. But overall, that was devastatingly good from Cloud9 there. They managed to kill Cryo, who is currently 1-5 attack side jet, before he even began to take a step forwards into the site. Cryo had no time to dash, couldn't even smoke in. Bang wasn't there at the same point as him.
Yeah.
I mean, 100 Thieves are getting smoked.
Literally, smoked. Getting killed on the other side of smokes, like you mentioned.
Yeah,
right? They didn't see a single person in that round except for Derek at the end, who made quite a run at it, but nothing doing.
That was the joke, Doug. Thanks for explaining that one.
Sometimes they go past, okay?
100 Thieves are in a very rough spot. And seriously, this match could mean everything for them. You need to make 6th place in order to get playoffs. And everybody was expecting 100 Thieves to get there. No problem. But when the top 4 in Americas looks as devastatingly good as they are, and 100 Thieves look like they're in a slight tier below, that battle actually for 5th and 6th becomes very important.
Yeah.
And one of their main competitors, Sentinels, already with a win over them. If they lose here, that's another competitor, Cloud9, with a win over them. This could be the split. This could be 100 Thieves' hopes and dreams slipping away.
The middle of the pack so tightly pressed together. You're right, it seems so early. It's just week 3, but the implication's so great. Leaf's gone hunting. How patient is Derek here? Oh dear.
The trade is good.
But that's both controllers down! Now they don't have any way to get onto the site!
Derek is somehow salvaging this round, actually. And if 100 Thieves are able to slow the tempo down, they're going to have better weapons. They can come into this with better than a couple of Guardians. Jake just threatening there that he's repositioned, but 100 Thieves are not slowing down at all. They're immediately getting to site.
No, confidence in that. Rooney has his ult. But they're on the opposite side of the map.
Yeah, it ain't going to stretch over here. The question really is, what can they do in a post plan? Derek's going to have a recon dart back online by the time Cloud9 get into position. And Cryo's got his knives. Look, 2 seconds left on this.
Not ready yet.
So the spam with the Guardians could be great, but I think he sent it a little early.
Oh no, forget it. He hit one, it's gonna be countered! Rooney gets it! Because of the weakness from Derek! Another retake for Cloud9! Another round for Cloud9!
What a what a retake. What a read. Rooney and Jake just finding round after round, outclassing their much more experienced opponents on 100 Thieves. I mean, playing really well. And to be honest, Bang had it way too difficult on map 1 because he's playing solo smokes on a map where you really should be playing 2. But the fact that coming here into Ascent, which should be a playground for Derek and Bang, they're still having these moments where the Cloud9 newer players are getting more value, being able to win the rounds, put him on the board.
Let us hunt.
Rooney jumped over the pulse of the Hunter Fury, by the way.
Yep.
Shutting them down.
Just unreal from him. So young, but so comfortable on the big stage.
And this is panic stations now for 100 Thieves. If they're not able to try and recover this a little. Flash through without dropping the Viper Orb there and faking like it could be a bit of B pressure. But Cloud9 are not going to believe this at all because they've already got out. And Stella, way too slow to get back around the corner. Cloud9 are now fully in control of the B side.
The concerning thing, too, is Stella was waiting for that exact situation. Yep. Waiting for pressure and from B, still not able to win the duel out. Bank's falling, too.
That is Jake just dominating A main against a drone. And the 100 Thieves are just trying to make anything they can happen.
Last player standing.
It's just solo plays across the map. Because anywhere they go, Cloud9 are dominating. They're allowing 100 Thieves control of mid, but they're losing all of the outer wings of the map.
You imagine a timeout close by, given how rough of a half this has been for 100 Thieves.
I think they need to put a lot more emphasis on controlling A main. That was the big thing that Loud were doing well against Cloud9. Cloud9 could not hold on. Oh, look at that little fake TP play from Jake as well.
Played him like a book, but Zeppo was there to clean it up.
And those are the kind of rounds where you have the NT. You know, everyone knows the game is slipping away from them.
Yep.
A match where all of the expectations were that you really should be winning this one. And if not, you're gonna have to reassess where you belong in terms of the rankings of America's teams. And you just put the sad little NT. So now it looks like 100 Thieves are gonna try and dominate A main a little more. But there are 4 players over on this side of the map for the defense.
And all that utility as well. You've got 2 nanos, the alarm bot, the turret, everything is here. And I think they're trying to play her on getting the knife onto Zelsis, but I want to say he avoided it. Yeah, all that utility's still up! And there's no go! There's nothing to really set Cryo out! Now Leaf comes through, Leaf gets a third anyway.
Spike down A.
These A pops look absolutely disastrous, and Leaf is just styling on them to end. Not only did Cloud9 read that was going to be A aggression coming out, but 100 Thieves never had anything going. I mean, you're absolutely right, Doug. There's no dash out. There's no crosshair, manipulation. Leaf is just able to keep focused on the choke point with a crossfire, and there's nothing. There's nothing happening here for 100 Thieves.
7-round lead for Cloud9. Once again, expectations shattered. We even teed it up at the beginning, Josh. Cloud9 have been in series leads before, right? They've been comfortable, they've looked like they've been able to hang, and then they crumble. But this time, the foundation's cracking on the opposite side.
Absolutely. Zeppa looking like he wants to go for a reclear there. There is an alarm bot that he could potentially flash off. Calling for help as Zelsis comes along, and Zelsis has the Odin, sorry. It's a nice idea.
See that lockdown used, and there's still a little bit of room to get through, but I mean, you're kind of stuck here. You've got to commit if you're going to funnel out, and it's all into Rooney. The flash was in the smoke. You start to see some of the lack of synergy and how they're playing this out.
But they're still getting in. Despite that lack of synergy, this is actually one of the best site hits that they've been able to put together. The fragment grenade from Asuna, very important, because you saw how Zeppa wanted to get through that smoke over at CT. And now the question is, can they hold on? Oh, this fight could be absolutely crucial. Derek's not ready for it. There is a pit that could be deployed here by Stella.
Right on cue.
And that it feels awful to have to go for that in a 3v3 when you've only got 1 round.
I mean, but at this point, you'll take any round you can get.
Absolutely.
What tools do they have? They have a paranoia, they have a swing out, and it's a 1-for-1. Time low. Asuna playing backside, waiting for the challenge. That's the pit. It's opened things up. Asuna in the 1v1. Zelsis on the challenge to spam, not landing as he swings around and gets it. But is he gonna have the defuse? No.
No time.
Clutch.
And what a showcase that really is, honestly, for 100 Thieves, because that's the best round they've put together and everybody died. I mean, that's what they're working with currently. Like you said, they'll take any round they can. And it has been a defense-sided map, but not really for these two teams. So that's why it becomes very dangerous. I also want to point out that Leaf currently has 5 first kills, and 100 Thieves haven't got a single one in this map so far.
Dire straits for 100 Thieves. The attacking side not finding a single first blood.
Shutting them down.
In a lot of ways, Josh, that kind of tells the whole story of the whole map.
It does. And not only that, Cloud9 were coming into this game only winning the first kill battle 40% of the time. That's really poor. And yet they were still doing fairly well. So imagine what happens when this team is winning all of those first duels. I mean, it just looks dominant.
Yep.
Little trap play here as the paranoia comes through from Catwalk. Zephyr and Leaf looking to try and fight this. Instant response from Asna.
A second, too. Good opener from the attacking side.
And that's actually the first kill that 100 Thieves have been able to get by dismantling that trap play. And Asna wasn't worried about getting knocked there because he's got his null commander online.
Heady out from Stellar, choosing to spam that smoke, and well, we didn't see that molly, all good.
Could this be the lifeline that 100 Thieves need? Normally you would say an 8-4 half is not that bad for the attackers. But considering that 100 Thieves have not won a single pistol round so far, and their game against Sentinels, they only won 4 defensive rounds, that's where the worry starts to come from.
30 seconds left. Flawless.
A flawless round out from 100 Thieves to get to 3. And really not a moment too soon. You were talking about how an 8-4 half is often, you know, okay, but I mean, they were down 8-1.
Yeah.
This could have been way worse.
Clean from Asma, though.
One enemy remaining.
Leaf has knives. Looking to try and make a play through mid by the look of things, as Zephyr and Jake continue to dominate A main.
They may try to go that way. You hear the blades instantly used. You wonder now it's a guessing game for 100 Thieves. Where are those blades?
Cover going out.
I thought through it. Looks like it's gonna be an 8 split, and they're skilled up so far. The timing on the audio is gorgeous.
Spike down.
That's the spike. Derek's left alone to try to salvage a brutal situation. Now they can retreat. 100 Thieves are gonna have to pinch in to fight A main. Oh, he's repositioned, and they don't know. That flash is good. Seppa with 3. What a disastrous round, but it's far from over.
Jake with 42 health. He might just be able to hold on to this or buy enough time for Zelsis to reinforce. And now these 100 Thieves players are getting pinched. They're wondering, where could people be? Oh, that is so enormous. Completely relieves the pressure coming from his side.
Yeah, but are you expecting 2 on the flank? You know 1 is here. Are you expecting Zelsis? Jake, who's so weak, the spam, he still delivers. Stellar, a brutal 1v2. He just got a shot at 1. Not able to land the shot. Swings around, looking for the spam on a Jake. Delivers! Stellar gets 3! The Red Bull clutch for 100 Thieves!
And the IGL puts them on the board. 4 rounds. Is it enough? I think possibly if they get a pistol, maybe 100 Thieves have recovered the half to the point where they might be able to do something, but my God, they need this pistol.
So desperately, and that's a big if, Josh. You mentioned that they haven't won a single one.
No. And remember that that's after having come off the Sentinels games, winning so many of them.
Yeah.
Was it 5 out of 6 or something in the Sentinels games? And they ended up losing that in OT.
One enemy remaining.
Cold out from Stellar as well. They showed Asna's reaction because he gave some of one. Stellar did not. Cold, cool the entire time. We're actually going to throw it down to Riv, who's standing by with DDK.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. DDK, General Manager of 100 Thieves. Also having a little bit of breath of fresh air there at the end of the first half. DDK, talk to me about that first week, first Evil Geniuses matchup. The team looked so good. They came out really strong. How are you going to find that here today? What could you pinpoint from that first week that the team was doing well?
Well, the first matchup we had against Sentinels was a little scrappy. I think today is looking a little scrappy as well. We seem to have some of those matches. I think the fans are familiar with, the heart attack. These things seems to be a real thing. But against EG, I think we really found our form. We came into it, we were very loose, and we won our pistols. Kind of need to get some of the pistols going here. That would make life a lot easier. But I think generally the map pool as well was really helpful for us, and we knew exactly what we were doing going into that one. I think here as well, going into Lotus straight away, I think that was a little bit unexpected. But other than that, I think I'm not too worried, and we are pretty early on here, so I have full faith. I think coming into the end of this series, and we're looking at the way that the maps are progressing, Ascent and then into Haven definitely favors us a lot more. So if we can just hang on through the rest of Ascent, we'll be fine.
Well, like we said, in that second half, you have a little momentum going. How's it been introducing Cryo into the team? How is it feeling? Putting a lot of pressure on the shoulders as well, having Cryo go into that duelist role. How has he been coping with that? Yeah, so I mean, Cryo's been a dream, integrating him into the team. He fits in, like, chemistry-wise, super well. The guys have so much fun together. It's a really great group of players in terms of just like the friendship on the team, and he fits that so nicely. And he as a player is extremely talented. We know that if we look at the long term with Cryo, which is what we're looking at, he's good enough to be it's a world star, and we're wanting to make sure that we help him to develop. We don't want to just keep him on that duelist role. We don't want to just keep ourselves in a position where he's going to be more inflexible in the future. We want to make sure that we're developing him into other roles as his skill sets, I mean, again, he's a fast learner. He's more of a passive jet, and he's able to perform very well at all the passive roles. Like, we've seen him on Sage, we've seen him on Omen. Not going to throw anything else out there just yet. That's what you've seen. Okay. But he is a player that's capable of a lot. So he's great. It's fantastic to work with. DDK, thank you so much for taking the time. And know the 100 Thieves fans are ready for this second half. Let's throw it back to the casters to get it underway.
Thank you, Riv. Yeah, always good to hear from DDK. And I think, Josh, he said something that kind of stood out in describing how they had to navigate the rest of Ascent. He said, hang on.
Yeah. He said they've got to hang on for the rest of Ascent, and then, Haven would be favored towards them. I agree with that, but I think they've made it very difficult to hang on. They need this pistol round. They've got to be able to win 1 out of 4. It becomes absolutely imperative for them. So early on there, the 0 point. Line up from B. Gives them a bit of an idea of where the opening salvo was. Leaf is so incredibly deep. Looking to try and pinch a CT player, but everyone on B has dropped into backside.
Stellar, Asuna, close by. There you see that flash out. Leaf trying to dance around, stay alive, find some cover. The shock dart back there too. They're feeling so much pressure. A 1-for-1. Stellar holding the line again. He spots the gun barrel. Oh, but there's another swing that he was unexpecting.
He did a lot of damage, though. He may have done enough. Meanwhile, Jake got picked up in mid. This 3-player stack push catwalk found Jake in mid, and now it's a straight-up 3v3. The spike's still not planted. If Zeppa goes for the tap, they could choose that moment to spring the retake.
Oh, they're patient. The paranoia is going to cause some problems, but the spike goes down. They wait to funnel out. A 1-for-1 continues. 2v2 left on the round. Zealous is sweet. And the pivotal pistol goes in favor of 100 Thieves.
Absolutely imperative that 100 Thieves won that one. It gets them back into this. Their defense side, it didn't look great against Sentinels, but they have all the pieces. Presumably that's one of the big things that they worked on heading into this week, especially if you're going to pick the map. But this was a must-win even to make it possible.
That 2K from Derek helped.
Yeah. And I think the player that I'm looking at is exactly the player that we're having that halftime discussion about. Cryo. He's 6-10 currently. I think it was 4-10 heading into the
right, yeah, halftime.
Into the halftime. And going into the half, for the series stats overall, Leaf 9-1 in first kills to first deaths, Cryo 2-11. So could not be a bigger differential between these two star players on CLOUD9 and 100 Thieves in terms of their success rate early round. But now that Cryo, a more defensive, passive player, as DDK was saying, now that he's on that defensive side, maybe he can have more impact.
Yeah, but we had the same conversation on Lotus.
Absolutely, and he didn't.
CLOUD9 was just able to find where Cryo was, and yeah, part of it was lucky, right? You guessed a couple of times, you guessed right. But if they're able to navigate away from Cryo again, this could be a very similar story.
You can see Cryo not investing very much in this round 14, probably to get an operator up as early as possible. And in theory, the defense side should be pretty strong here for 100 Thieves. The only thing they're really missing from their composition is that traditional Sentinel, the Killjoy. But Stella's gonna try and do the job instead, not quite working.
Once again, the face of pressure towards B, and the defenses crumble. You do have Cryo close by. Jake trying to find one, but Flash can't see a thing. Ultimately falls. Zeppa and Celsius are through, though, and they are going to get the spike down, so a little bit of money.
Left.
If nothing else. They're starting to funnel out through the paranoia. Great timing up from Bang. Better shot out from Celsius, but another round for the defensive side.
Definitely a little difficult for 100 Thieves to deal with, and that was only with, you know, Sheriffs online for Cloud9. And I think the stress is definitely going to be that lack of a Killjoy. The KJ provides you opportunities to get information passively in mid or over towards B. Alarm bot, turret, they're going to be set up so that you don't have to worry too much. In theory, if you had a very active Jet player, they might be able to run around and plug the gaps. Right. But Cryo will most often play one angle for a long time in the round. And that puts pressure on the other players, specifically Stella, who I think has got to have a phenomenal performance on this half. Let's have a look, though. Rifles online, 100 Thieves. Got a bonus buy.
That's the key to a hard hit.
They are not fighting over A main. Remember how aggressively Cloud9 fought for this area of the map, and 100 Thieves give it up for free. Full retake setup.
Such a stark juxtaposition to when we saw 100 Thieves trying to hit this exact same site. But we'll see if they're able to hold on. That's certainly going to help as the anchor falls.
Another kill through smoke. Rooney's weak, just avoids the shock dart.
2 down in hell. 1 on site and then 2 back main. Can 100 Thieves crack through this? Position spotted. The spam stew not going to be good enough yet. There's 1 going down. That's another 2. But there's still so much to do. 100 Thieves are starting to call their way back into this thing. Can Zeppa play hero? No. But perhaps Celsius can. 1v2, 2 Bulldogs. The nade is going to provide some time. The flash is there. And that's clean from 100 Thieves.
Very nice retake. On the bonus round, that's what you need. As far as I'm aware, I think that's the first bonus round they've won in the Americas this year. They have not been able to really convert, and my, oh my, what a time to do it. 4-8 down at the half, on the verge of losing this series, and having a dangerously bad deficit in the split overall, even by week 3. They come out with pistol, follow-up, and bonus round, all retakes, by the way.
They were outnumbered in that one, too. That was a 5v4 leading into things.
Yep.
Very well done. Might buy from Cloud9. A couple of stingers, light armor. Not much else. But they trample down Cat. The spike separated. And Leaf dead. The spam through. Snese taking any damage. He peeks back into the paranoia. Wow. He was blind. Asuna is taken over.
Is Rooney gonna let him?
Crowd loving that one.
And I think 100 Thieves will be too, because that puts them back up to 8-8. An incredibly pivotal round coming up where ults are definitely going to get expended. But that is a mighty streak of rounds.
What is that, 7 rounds in a row?
7 in a row. Cloud9 were up enormously.
8-1.
Yeah, that's crazy. 8-1 and 100 Thieves have pulled this comeback.
What can Cloud9 do to equalize things? How do they get back into this? How do they break this overwhelming momentum that 100 Thieves have amassed?
Look at this once more. The attacking team allowed mid control, and instead the defenders taking B main. Cryo and Bang playing together here, dominating this entrance, and Celsius will find it very difficult with Rooney.
Oh, they were waiting for that.
Pushed.
Yeah.
I feel like 100 Thieves overplayed their hand there, and now Bang's gonna get caught on the walk back in.
They've lost mid. They've lost the map.
They might well have done.
Big from Asuna, but a good trade. And Leaf is intended to be just the cover here at this point. The spike is A. You've got Jake over there as well.
Spike planted.
Standing ahead.
Oh, it's so tempting. You spot him, you spot the shoulder. Jake dealing a little bit more damage, but numbers back for 100 Thieves.
A 2v3 where they don't quite know where Leaf is positioned. And there isn't great amounts of time.
Or health. And look at that, 38 and 39.
One enemy remaining.
Leaf gets the first, the second, dropped. A 3K for Leaf as CLOUD9 take the lead back.
100 Thieves are in a great position to win that round, and they overplayed their hand massively. Pushing out past that very common alarm bot position and just swinging into any players that are over at tiles. I mean, I'm not surprised that 100 Thieves are calling a timeout here because I think they need to be calmed down a little.
Yeah.
7 rounds in a row, maybe that's a bit of overconfidence, or maybe they just feel like they need to be pushing. But to be honest, I think you can give mid control there and just play B main. They had 3 players around. They could have stopped Rooney and Celsius coming back into B main and stopped Leaf coming out from market. And instead, bit of a misstep. From our point of view, though, we can see that Cryo's invested in an op. And this is going to be the first time that Cryo's really had that online. I'm interested to see whether they play aggressively with it, though. Do they get him posted somewhere where he's able to find good value?
Yeah, maybe.
Does he try and rotate around or just stick in the same spot?
Hey, you wonder, maybe they post him up B main or something along those lines to play off of a little something and set him up, or...
I'd like to see him play mid, actually. I think that from what you've seen of CLOUD9 so far, they're going to be playing mid very heavily, where someone could try and break drone and then, you know, Cryo can get a repeat. Or they're going to be grouping up pretty heavily in A main and going for a pop. And I think at that point, Cryo should be able to tell you whether or not there's an A split happening. And that's really useful for the A.